What's going on, guys? It's Madman Plant, and we are back in the studio. Yesterday, I had my event in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which went out without a hitch, and it was very good. The Vindec EU Healing the Hustle is a great platform, and if you missed it, well, you can attend it here coming up on August 20th here at Always Flavored in Fredericksburg off of Carolina Street. Anyways, throughout the conversation, we had a lot of really great pinpoints. One of those is darkness. You know, a lot of us, including me, can live in a world of darkness. And how do you navigate that, especially with the pressures of life? And in case, last night, business owners, parenting, there's just so many factors of what goes into it. And Liahna is here with me today in the studio. And we were together last night. She was one of the panelists. Oops. And one of the reasons why I'm really glad that you're here today is because you talked a lot about being in it still. And I'm still kind of in certain ways, not maybe not as deep as you are, but there are days where oh, wait, hold on. Go ahead.
It's not a contest.
It's not a contest. No, it definitely shouldn't be a contest. But sometimes keeping up with life does feel like a contest. Right. Like you're running a constant race that you can't win. You know what I mean? And one thing that I really liked about you is your transparency and being able to know where you are, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. It's the ability to kind of be an observer, not just the spectator, that and the critic, and then seeing that for itself. So today, this is a long time coming because I think we scheduled your podcast like last year.
Yep.
Yeah. And
it's better now, honestly, because last year I was in a completely different space.
Yeah.
Before everything started crashing.
Well, I think there's pros and cons to that, but I think with the destruction comes like the rehabilitation and the rebirth of whatever failed before. And a lot of times throughout life, especially in business, as we know, you have that. You have great clients and then they're gone one day, and now I have to go find this love and this passion that this person had for my business all over again, with kids and family. So tonight I kind of want to dive into the darkness with you. You know what I mean? So where do you think all of this started? Like if you could pinpoint early life, like your first moments of like sadness where you started to think about these thoughts about like suicidal ideation and all these other like traumas.
I don't know where I don't have a pinpoint turning point, right? I feel like it was always creeping in. I can remember in like when I was 5 or 4 going to a new Sunday school and having anxiety. So that I think, and then just being a teenager and trying to fit in. I grew up in a really small town and never really fit in anywhere, but I was friends with everybody. So it was a wild time in the 80s, the 90s, So we just kind of did our own thing. And while there was a lot of parental guidance and supervision, there was also a lot of time for us to get into trouble.
Well, I think back then it was way more relaxed. Like my grandfather talks about the times where they would get caught by the police in the early like 20s and 30s stealing apples off an orchard, and they would chase them and then just yell at them and then carry on. Now you steal an apple, you can face criminal charges. Not that you should steal, but something so simple. Today it's taken so seriously where I feel like back then people were like, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as nobody dies, we're good.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't come back unless you're dead.
Yeah. So with the anxiety and kind of like the fear of like new places, it sounds like with like daycare and other things, how does that lead to your later life? Start to dive in, as you experience as an adult, because obviously I feel like we remember more as adults than we do as children.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, a lot of it is a blur, right? Because I did get pregnant at 19 and married at 20, and like my life started as a mom really early. So all of the crazy stuff that I did was in high school, because then I was a mom and I was a wife. And I gave up my career to raise the kids, which I loved, but it was also a extremely draining experience because I had kids back to back to back. And I really lost myself and who I was. And I had severe postpartum depression after one of the kids, went on antidepressants, and it just did not work for me. We did counseling, we did all the things that I knew how to do, and it was still there. So I would just ride the waves, so to speak. And then when I left my marriage, there was a whole new set of variables, right? So how do you make money? How do you survive when you've been a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
And so I went to massage school. I was previously teaching people how to invest in the stock market. And that you have to be very in control of your emotions and unattached to do. So that was great until I had to actually survive on that money. And I lost everything in 5 minutes because I didn't get out of a trade in time, and decided to go a completely different route and go to massage school. And I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. I actually hated clinic in school. It was all new people, right? Like, you don't have regulars in school. You don't have new people every time. And so it was always like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet, and you want me to touch a stranger and he's paying for it or she's paying for it? Like, oh, the stress. So but I ended up, once I got out into the world of massage, really loving it. And you attract the clients that are a lot like you. So a lot of my clients also deal with mental health issues or neurodivergent issues, and they're trying to be healthier, right? So I have to be at a certain level of healthiness myself.
Yes, and that's one thing that we were talking about last night is, to have that kind of honesty with yourself, but how do you deal with that when you are in the presence of a customer and they're here to pay for a service, not necessarily to feel bad for you?
Yeah.
And when you're in a position of like wellness with you, how do you promote the truth when you're supposed to be promoting, I have this great business, you're gonna have this great experience, it's gonna be a great investment for you, when you're like, I'm broken, dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't necessarily get into it with a new client, but a lot of my clients have been with me for years. And so it's, especially since I started my business during COVID, I think a lot of the lines that I had upheld prior to COVID kind of blurred because I was the only physical interaction that my clients were having with another human for a year or two.
Okay.
And we didn't realize how much that impacted your mental health to be completely isolated from physical content, or just like having a conversation this close, right?
Yeah.
If you're having all of your conversations on Zoom, there's a disconnect there. So my clients that are regular know a lot about me. They probably know way too much about me. But at this point, they're like, they just come for the updates. They're like, what's happening on the show this week?
So they like
yeah,
the drama.
Yeah. But, it's not like they need to know everything, but they know enough to give me grace when I need it. And they know enough to be like invested in me too, right? So my clients have been my biggest supporters and my biggest cheerleaders, honestly.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you have that. Sometimes it can be very transactional when it comes to clients, and you want to build that relationship, but you don't want to overstep that bound. So being able to find people that truly get you and support your business is like, that's a great place to be.
Yeah. And because I own my own business, I have the power to cultivate the clients I want, right?
And fire the clients you don't want.
I have done that too.
Yeah. So when do you think you first recognized like true sadness?
I mean, I feel like I've had different levels of it at different points. I mean, there's from everything from like losing friends and family members that I loved, like naturally caused, right? But the time it hit me the most was when my brother died.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So talk about your brother. Who was your brother?
My brother was perfect in every way. He was
okay.
He was funny, smart. He had a cookie business at like, I don't know, 11. Like he was
Wow.
an
Okay. So
entrepreneur.
true entrepreneur.
Yeah. And he had his little school photo up by the cookies. So people would buy the cookies because he was cute. And they're like, oh, we want to support this cute little boy. His marketing was
Yeah.
unintentional,
Genius
but yeah.
marketing here without even knowing it.
Exactly. He was everybody's friend, and he was good at sports. He was good at school, better than I was, at least. I was really the screw up one that was the black sheep.
I joined
Even
you
as
on the
the
black
oldest.
sheep. I'm the one that never went to college, just
Yeah.
like everybody else in my family did.
Yep.
Got tattoos, put holes in my hair, and now all of a sudden turned my hair pink.
Ugh.
Like my dad, we were in Starbucks the other day, and he's like, "How did you fall so far off like the normal scale?" And I'm like, "I'm me.
It's
Isn't
called
that
balance,
great?"
Dad.
Yeah,
It's called balance.
like I get to be me. Who do you get to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody that's always worried about other things, and I definitely dive. So your brother seems like a great, somebody that's living life. Where do you think he experienced his fall and depression and mental health?
So I think really for him, he was more of a perfectionist, and he really didn't think that anybody noticed him for whatever reason. When he died, he left a list of people to tell, and it was like 14 people. And he shut down 3 school systems with grief counselors because he had that big of an impact that he had no idea that he had, right? Like he thought nobody would know, and he wiped out 3 schools. So I think he wanted out for whatever reason, because as much as I see his life as perfect, right? He definitely did not see that.
Yeah.
What I saw. And it got to the point where he was done.
Now, did he talk about it?
No. He had made like 2 comments, because I didn't live at home at the time. I lived in Virginia.
Okay.
And I had come home for his birthday, and he had asked me how to spell suicide. And I didn't even think about it, because that wasn't even like, that was my thing, right? And it was for a school paper that was due. And it was like, what future events in your life are coming up? And it didn't even occur to me to ask, had I asked, right? You can always play that game of should have, could have,
kind of ominous,
right?
It's like you're so sure that you write it down. They talk about the power of writing things down. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So continue.
So I went to my friend's house to watch Dawson's Creek, because we didn't have TV at my mom's.
Okay.
And she called me and she was like, is Neil with you? And I was like, no. He was at home when I left. And we spent that night kind of like looking for him, not sure where he was. And the next morning they found him in his car with a 22.
Obviously
not living, unalived.
Did he, was there anything left behind, like a note or anything?
Just a list of people to tell. That was it.
Just like, but no like manifestation or ideation of what. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something that he dealt with himself? Do you think it was something that was brought on by like society, or something that maybe he, like a life event that he went through that really messed him up? Or
we had plenty of life events, right? Like our parents getting divorced and our grandfather dying. That was our like closest grandfather, which happened. And then my dad got remarried like within a week of my grandfather dying. And he was just, I think he was holding in a lot. But if it's his conversations were anything like my conversations, I'm very good at convincing myself that I don't matter and that everybody would be better off without me.
Why do you think that?
Because I have a lot of evidence to support that.
Yeah, but I feel the same thing. I feel like everything that I do is for nothing, and nobody gives a shit about anything.
Exactly. My kids would be better off with a different mom, one that didn't have to struggle against herself. My clients will find somebody else. My friends will find somebody else.
Well, I would like to tell you that you're wrong. You would
I know
definitely
logically.
logically, you'd be
logically,
missed, and, people do care about you. But talk about that feeling, because I think that feeling is one of the most real feelings that we have as humans, is the thought of being alone or not being worthy or not having the same that other people have. So we're looked at as different. And you and I are very in the same boat as far as like where we are in our business, where we are in our life, trying to kind of just push forward and show up. So,
Yeah.
you know, where does that come from other than you telling yourself? What evidence have you given yourself, like me, that actually proves that? Because when I talk to Lacey, she's quick to reassure
Right.
that that's not true.
Right. And good thing you have her.
Well, you have us now, so you can reach out to me. This isn't just a conversation. It's a way to truly connect with people, because if we can make people feel validated and safe and heard, then people don't think like that, you know? And
really?
well, yeah, in a way, when I was suicidal when I was younger, there's tons of times where I'm the same way with business and stuff, where I'm just like, you know, if I just checked out the day, it'd just be easy, you know, totally free. Maybe you take Logan and Lacey with me, whatever, you know, but what does that truly do to the legacy that we live? And one thing that I kind of have started to try to do now is just forget about them and do it all for me. So every day I'm the receiver of the instant gratification of my life, because it's not about them anymore. It's about me, you know, in a constructive way. So talk about why you feel this way. Like, what about Liahna isn't great?
I mean, I feel like at 46, almost 47, I should be further along.
You don't
right?
even look that. You look like you're my age, like 36.
Thank you. I'll take it. But yeah, I feel like I should be further along. I feel like I put a lot of work into my business, and it took 4 or 5 years, and then it took about 6 months for it to completely implode, right? And everything that I had worked for isn't there. I mean, I still have my base clients, I still have my business, but it's not where it wasn't on. It's not on the same trajectory that it used to be on, right? Which was training people, building a solid core, and then expanding and growing. I didn't even know if that's my vision anymore, because it didn't light me up ultimately. I love my clients, I love working with other people, but I don't know if I want to be the leader, or if I have what it takes to be a leader, because it, you know, inevitably you're going to deal with clients that are not happy. And that sets me back a lot. And because I'm still working on boundaries and honoring myself, I end up taking the blame rather than having a confrontation. So even with myself, I'll take the blame rather than confronting those issues. So the business is one. My older kids have gone through, I don't know if it's like a boy thing at 20 where you decide that your mom is like a total piece of shit. But that's kind of every one of my older boys that's turned 20 is like, they go through this phase where they just hate me. And after giving up everything for them and pouring into them, that I'm the bad guy. Whereas I felt like their dad didn't do that, and he's the good guy because he's the one that's there now, and I'm not. And so I've had to let go of my children, which were my everything. Like, that's all I wanted to be when I grew up, was a mom. Really, I didn't want to be a massage therapist. I just wanted to be a mom.
I don't think anybody says I want to grow up to be a videographer one day.
I mean, some people might. Like, to the point where my fourth went and joined the army in October and didn't tell me until June. And I was like kind of devastated, because I was like, you didn't even tell me? And then you're gonna go to boot camp, and I probably won't ever hear from you again, because he's not the kid that stays in contact. He's my Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. So that was, you know, I've had to let go of a lot of the things that I thought were holding me here. So there's the level of detachment now that I've mastered that's probably not healthy, because I can detach from anything and anyone
Yeah, the power. Lacey says, "I'm so sorry you're going through that with your kids." Just so you know, she's watching.
I'm told that they'll come back, and we'll see.
Well, I can tell you with the whole detachment thing, one thing my ex-girlfriend taught me was how to say goodbye. And when I actually got dumped and left on the side of the road in Arizona 3 days before Christmas, and that's why I have the Indian and then the girl, the Day of the Dead girl, because that's her. That's what she looked like, but now she's dead to me. So, when I cross my arms, they're staring at each other. Because when I came back, I used all my hurt and energy to build my company because I didn't have anything either. But the level of detachment from what I learned from her was how to say goodbye and no, baby, I love you. Come back. There is just goodbye. And it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it just makes you move on. And when you get too good at it, the level of detachment's, like you said, it's very easy and it's very lucrative. It's kind of like firing a client. I'm just done with you. I'm not going to call you again because I don't need your business or want your business, and
even if I need it.
even if I need it, I'm not good. Calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, business wise too. But also I think it's worse for me with personal relationships because I'm so used to people leaving my life that I'm almost the first one to do it now and be like,
because you're scared of being.
Yeah, I feel like this might. Okay, I'm out. Now,
does that fall over to like dating and relationships and getting to know people? And
yeah, so it's the double-edged sword, right? Like I will either leave too soon or I'll stay too long to try to prove that I'm lovable.
I think, where do you think the mixed reality of perception is? I think one thing that makes us lovable is the way we show up, our energy, how we carry ourselves, through all of that. Even like last night, with all the people applauding you and really appreciating all the things you had to say, like, how does that not make you feel lovable?
I don't remember that at all.
See, we're the same thing. You block out certain things to remember other details.
Yeah.
Well, they were. And when you were talking about your ideation and everything like that, people were listening and they weren't judging, and when you were done talking, people applauded you for that because you were being real.
Right.
How do you not see that the part of you that's being real with yourself now is also the part that people like about you? Because to feel like you do and then be able to be open to share it, last night you saw it for yourself. That room was very intently listening. They cared deeply and they felt the same way.
I don't think I'm fully present when I'm doing these things, right? I think I go to a different place, and because I still have the voices in my head that I shouldn't be saying this, that I'll be locked up, or that I'll be not even judged. It's like I keep running into people who don't understand because they don't deal with it, right? And I have a lot of friends who do deal with it and who do understand, but I think if you've never been in that position, and I've been here since, for 30 plus years, that when I tell people, they're like, oh, it's just a bad day. You're just milking it. Just be happy. Just do a gratitude. Do some affirmations. And I'm like, okay, thanks. I'll try. But I don't even want to get out of bed. I mean, I do for work. There's a lot of times when I'm in it where I don't want to go, and I go anyways, and I have a great time and I love it. And then I'm better because I went to work. But I don't remember the question.
Well, pretty much the feeling of being wanted and validated.
Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna pull some landmark on you. My feeling.
What is landmark?
It's a transformational conversation. It's all over the world, but there's one in Alexandria, and it's you pay for it, and they lead you through a conversation that is completely made up, and yet somehow transforms everything. So,
is it like Scientology?
No.
Okay.
No, but a lot of people get really weird about it because it confronts you, right? So there's a lot of paranoia that comes out with it.
Okay.
But it's the best track for growth that I've ever found because people hold you accountable to being authentic and integrity and being responsible for your own stuff, right? Like there's no going and saying, oh, this is the way, it's all their fault. No, it's you always have a responsibility in any situation. So, and one of the things in Landmark I got was that at some point in my high school, I think I was around 13, 14, 15, I had a conversation with my mom, and I always was under the assumption that my parents got married and then they decided to have a child, and then I was born, and like at least the beginning was this super happy romantic thing, right? I don't know where I got that, but I always had that picture in my heart. And so I was looking at the calendar and dates, and I was like, oh, you got married here, and then I was born here. And the dates didn't add up. Like I was born like right after they got married. And my mom's like, oh yeah, we got married because I got pregnant with you. And in that moment, for whatever reason, I decided I wasn't wanted. And so underlying in my personality growing up was the desire to be wanted. And it was never good enough.
That's interesting how you can remember that. And that exact scenario seems pretty common for a lot of people, that you wind up getting pregnant. We might as well be married now. How come it wasn't like that? It's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, people do that all the time.
Because I was a very big romantic, and I thought that it should have been a different way. And that's not true. Like my parents did want me, right?
Yeah.
At least my mom did. I don't know about my dad. But they did want me. It didn't happen in the order that I thought it did. So I made up a story that I believed was true. And then when their marriage didn't work, and my mom thought we were all asleep and she was crying herself to sleep at night, and my boyfriend broke up with me for another girl, I decided men leave. So I got to be the one that leaves first.
Now, did you have any ideations of suicide then?
Absolutely.
So
I attempted in high school a few times.
What were your ways, like methods?
I had some direct and some indirect. So I did a lot of drugs, way more than I should have. I drank a lot. I was very reckless. And then I tried to overdose.
Maybe that's why you look so young.
Maybe.
You got the reverse effect of like Ozzy Osbourne and all the other guys that did too much drugs, and now they look like 99.
Now I have a resistance to it. No. I think also because I had kids young, so they kept me young.
That is true. That's why grandparents love kids, because it keeps them active.
But yeah, I think the time I actually overdosed on purpose to die, a friend of mine found out and told somebody, and then I ended up in the psych ward. And my diagnosis in the psych ward was normal teenager.
That's fucked up.
Right?
Well, it's
and I was
up
like,
2 reasons. One, to title you like is normal, and then 2, to have that as a standard, maybe because it's typical of a scenario that would be there.
Yeah. And also I felt like, wow, I was devastated and I was ready to go, and you're just like, they're cute, move along. Like I felt very invalidated actually by that.
So when you what did you take?
I think it was Sudafed. It was something like that. It was something that you have to have your ID now to show.
Okay.
Because I accidentally took 2 of everything in the medicine cabinet at my parents' house, and ended up making PCP according to the the pumping of my stomach and the blood draw, because I went to school and couldn't remember my name and couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And they were like, I think she needs to go to the hospital. So then I got kicked out for a week, and I had to go to drug school, where I met a lot of fun people that I wouldn't have met otherwise.
That probably were or were not good for the cause.
Definitely were not. Not one of them was good for it.
Now, jumping back to your brother, how did your brother take his life?
22.
You said that earlier. Now, how come you chose pills versus the 22?
So after my brother, because I think my attempt was before he did it, actually. Yeah.
Did he know that you tried?
Yeah. I don't really like guns. Like I like them, but I'm not comfortable with them. So, and I don't really, even though I had access to them, that was never my go-to. I was more, I'm gonna hang myself, I'm gonna overdose, I'm gonna jump off a cliff kind of thing, jump in front of a train. I don't know why.
Were you scared about pain or anything going through it? Like taking a bunch of pills and hoping that you just fall asleep and never wake up versus actually jumping in front of an 18-wheeler. One's going to be a lot messier than the other. Like, did those thoughts ever come into your mind as somebody that constantly thinks about it? Because my thing is, like, when I've had thoughts about it, it's just more the thought of just like leaving, but not the thought of, well, what would I do to myself type thing. You know what I mean?
No, I play it all the way through.
Okay, so play it all the way through. Like when you were in those situations, like what would the scene be like if somebody were to find you?
That's usually what ends up stopping me ultimately, by the way, or it's the anxiety of getting to the place and somebody catching me. Does that make sense? So like I'll play it through to like especially in 2020 was probably, other than this year, the darkest, because I could hear the train from the house that I was staying in. And so every time, it was multiple times a day. So every time I heard the train, it was like a call for me to go jump in front of it.
Interesting.
And it had nothing to do with COVID. Like it was just all my personal life, right? And so I would envision, like, where am I going to park? Do I leave a note in the car? Do I bring it with me? Where do I get on the track where it's going to be the maximum velocity? Because do they slow down for the crossings? Is that going to be enough of an impact? Because I don't want to half do it. I'm an overachiever. I want to do it all the way.
Alive.
Right? Exactly.
Main donut and everything.
That would be my luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I walk it all the way through and picture people finding my car. I mean, I've even gone so far as like picturing the funeral. And in my younger years, I think it was more, I wanted the revenge of people knowing how badly they hurt me, or knowing how badly I was hurt and hurting. And like, now they'll know if I'm gone. Like that's the only way that they're going to know.
What if they didn't get the memo and then they never knew?
Then they never knew. But I'll be gone. I won't have to deal with it.
But when people say, like, I won't have to deal with it, obviously you're dead.
Yeah.
Right. But I just feel like, at this sense, I'm kind of on a mixed thing, because there has been times, even like, especially after my car accident, I had a lot of survivors go along with Lacey, and it put some really dark thoughts. And me and Lacey actually together went through a kind of very deep depression, where it was, just a bunch of sadness and just all of that. And, I just try to figure out, like, if you were to actually go through and do it, and let's just say, like, it worked, and you're fading in and out, right? Is there any regret?
No.
Nothing at all. Nothing where you're like, oh fuck. Like, somebody like that OVDs on accident and they didn't mean to. They were just trying to get high, and it's like an oh fuck moment, because that you're dying.
Yeah.
And there's what would your last thoughts be? Like, what would you be thinking about at that moment?
Honestly, probably just, I'm glad it's over.
Well,
I mean, like, I know you want me to be like, oh, I won't get to see my kids.
I want you to be authentic. I don't want you to be any way.
Yeah.
But I want you to be, because this is a real question.
Right.
is you get to that end goal.
I'm not
let's say.
afraid of death. I don't think it's really truly an end. Honestly.
Where would you go?
Don't know. Okay with it. Either way.
What makes you think that it's not an end?
Just I have a feeling. I
Like-
don't talk to dead people or anything.
Like
but
another universe, like another.
cool. That would be fun. I'm open to whatever possibility it is.
She's like, send me wherever, you know. As long as
I
they
just
have
don't want to do this
baseball.
one again. I don't want to do this one again. This one was not that fun.
So, let's talk a little bit about your husband who passed away.
Not husband.
Boyfriend.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I do. Like, I don't even know what to call him. Sure.
The father of your children,
Yeah.
2 children.
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay. So now with him, was it like your brother where there was just no signs until it was there?
No. And he was the third one. So in between there was my cousin, right? So my cousin had depression and ADHD, and he just, before he turned 21, was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not fighting this anymore. And he did write a note, and then he pawned all of his electronics to get a gun and went into the woods by their house. So that one I was more mad at. My brother was more shocked. Sean, I was more mad at. Justin was more of a, I hate to say thought out decision. But his was different in the fact that he was involved in a police standoff for like 18 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so, and he had been running for a month, and I was on the phone with him for 24 hours because he had taken some stuff he made himself, and it didn't have a good effect on him. And so he was cycling through different emotions really quickly and was not logical or coherent in some of the spaces. He had his parents held hostage for most of the night, and I was on the phone with him trying to get him to calm down. And then he finally let them go. And I'm glossing over all of this. It's a much more in-depth story, but he let them go. He took the 4-wheeler. He drove off to what I thought was his friend's house. And then he called me from an unknown number, and they were on the phone and like, oh, so do you have everything you need? Okay, we're going to go now, which is not how the newspaper described it, by the way. And he basically holed himself up in a strange people's houses and was antagonizing the cops. And then alternately on the phone with me, I had actually paid for a lawyer to represent him because he was accused of his 3rd grand theft auto is what it was. And so his MO would be to get drunk and take a car.
Just go for a joyride.
Or he thought it was his car. Like, there's multiple different scenarios. But so he would go back to prison because that's a felony. And he'd already spent 2 bids in prison and did not want to go back. And so we were trying to reason with him, and he always felt like he could never find his place in life. Like, if he had found his passion and his purpose, his life would have gone a different direction. But he was always like the gangster from day one. He dropped out in 8th grade. He went on the path of drug dealer, crazy. No, he wasn't crazy. Sorry. He was a wild guy, right? Like, he
Glad to have a good time.
Yeah, he was so different than me. I was not that, and he was everything I wasn't. So it was weird that we connected so deeply. But again, with his drinking, we never made it past like 3 months. So he wanted me to stay and wait for him, and I couldn't make that promise. And so they sent the gas in, they cut the phone lines, sent the gas in, and he had a sawed-off shotgun.
Took his own life.
Yep.
Now, with all of this behind you, what is your personal thought on suicide? Like, if If you were, I would like to know, like how do you see it? Do you see it like a morbid thing? Do you see it as like, something, like some people say, oh, well, if you were to commit suicide, you go to hell. Some people say, oh, you're selfish. Like, how do you see suicide, especially as losing so many people in your life to suicide?
I definitely can see the point of view that when people think that it's selfish, but in that thought process, you're actually being selfish yourself, because you're not thinking about the person's state of mind and their well-being when they made that choice. Right?
Yeah.
You wanted them to stay for you. So that's also selfish. For me, I feel like it's liberating. And I think it should be a choice. I think we have made it taboo and a bad and wrong thing in the human attempt to try to prevent people from doing it. But I think that there's a lot of situations where, this culture right now is all about getting to be whoever you want to be, right? Living authentically you. And so sometimes that's not fun. Sometimes that's messy. Sometimes this is not who I want to be. I want to off the ride. Why can't I have the right to get off the ride? Why do I have to stay on a ride where I am fighting myself constantly every day just to make everybody else happy and comfortable?
Jim Carrey describes depression as, fuck me, I don't want to be this character anymore.
Right.
Which is kind of, in a way, what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Is you get tired. But if that's the case, then people like you who have made dates, but then something happens and then keeps you moving forward, why live in the balance? Why
make the date?
Yeah, why make the date if you're not going to catch the bus? You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying I
don't
haven't
want you
yet.
to, but
right? But honestly, for me, and I found this reel on Instagram because I thought I may have been the only person that had this thought, because I'm a human.
No,
I
you're
think
not.
I'm special.
You're not.
But like the moment I made the decision, I could be happy again. Because all of the pressure, not all of it, but a lot of the pressure that was on me that was causing me to feel like I had no way out of this just horrible hell that I was in, when I decided, okay, on this date, I'm out. And this is how I'm going to do it. And this is where I'm going to be. And this is okay. But until then, I have stuff to do to get ready for that, because I got to make sure my ducks are in order before I go. Right. Like, I'm not going to do it and my bed's unmade. That's the level of ridiculousness that it gets for me sometimes.
Okay.
But it made me happy. And I'm the happiest I am when I know I have an exit date.
So do you think that you just make up a date because it makes you happy, and you're not actually serious about it?
It's an option. It's an option. It's always an option, right? Some days it's a stronger option than others.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take much for it to be an option on the table again.
Well, that was my next question: is what would build up in a day-to-day scenario that would just be like, you know what, I'm moving that fucking date up. Right?
Today's the day.
Dustin says, you are so strong and brave, girl. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Dustin. It can be anything from like the kids having a hard day that makes my day hard, to something going really wrong at work, to like I got the settlement today for the divorce, and it's disappointing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take it anyways because I want to get out, because it's one less thing to pile up against me. Because I'm hopeful that when these papers are finally signed, that I can not deal with him ever again, and find a different version of myself that's not part of that. So it can be like a bill that didn't get paid that triggers it. or that I couldn't pay. And I feel like, you know what? I worked so hard and I can't even afford to live on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like literally this year, that has been the biggest conversation. Like, I can't even afford to live on this planet right now.
Well, that's a scenario for a lot of business owners. I was talking to my business coach today, and I've lost clients this year.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not doing well.
I switched booking software, which I lost clients from that. I switched locations and I lost clients from that. And I knew it was going to happen, but I also knew it was necessary. And I knew it was like the last couple of months I've been like, I don't know how anything's going to get paid.
Yeah.
And somehow it does, but barely.
I think in the end, it always seems to work out eventually. Maybe not like right away, but
it does. And
you don't get to 80 years old because it didn't work out. You know what I'm just saying?
True. But there's a gentle ride to 80, and then there's like the wild roller coaster from Ozzy Osbourne's Hell that like you're. How do I even get off this thing?
Crazy train.
Yeah, and I feel like my whole life I've been like, okay, it's gonna calm down. It's gonna calm down. Like I'll get to this point, and then it'll be. If I can just buy a house on my own. If I can just, have a steady income, then I'll get to the point where life will calm down and I can relax and be happy. But it hasn't gotten there yet, so we're still on the roller coaster.
Well, I have to share that I'm the same way. I feel like I should have been a lot further in life. I feel like I've put a lot into my business and I'm dealing with certain issues myself. And it's just like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
But, I think that's the gamble. Everything is a gamble. Waking up every day and leaving your bed is a gamble. You could fall and break your neck, get out of bed. You know, anything's possible. But I
also feel like, sorry to cut you off.
Oh, go for it.
Like, how did I end up owning a business? I'm
like, we're not good at working for other people. We need to work for ourselves.
But also, like, who left me in charge of myself? And I have nobody to like rein me in and be like, maybe calm down right now. Maybe not expand so soon. And people have told me that, and I don't listen. That's part of the problem, and why I'm a business owner, because I don't listen.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. When we did it, this room that we used to be in, on this wall used to be 7 3D printers. We used to do t-shirts. We were trying to do all this other stuff and stickers, and it did not work out. And we said goodbye to it because, you have to focus on one, what makes money, but two, the same time is, just because you invest in it doesn't mean that it works out. And sometimes
that sucks.
I think it's like gritting your teeth when it happens, but sometimes it's in a way kind of like, what? I'm glad that didn't work out because something else came in its place that was much better that I enjoy. And like you were kind of talking earlier, I'm getting to the point too where, I'm more into like mental health and doing other things. Like I love doing video production. But like I'm kind of shifting where, I'd rather be a speaker on stages, influencing and talking to people about real conversations that matter versus working with businesses who don't get or utilize my video service and then act like I'm the bad guy because, they invested in this video and then they do nothing with it. And it sits on one post on Facebook. And they're like, oh, it's you didn't make a good video. No, I created an awesome product.
Right.
You have to do something with it too.
Right.
And that's the heartbreak of, the owning your own businesses. You can put your heart and soul. You work so many hours on a project, or in your case, doing all these deep techniques with massage and all this stuff, maybe go a couple extra, 15 minutes extra or whatever, really building up the experience for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like that one detail, and it makes you want to jump off a bridge. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Right. And sometimes it's not even in their control, right? Like they move or their circumstances change. the hard part for me is charging what I'm worth and not apologizing for that, because I want to give everybody a discount, right? But then how do I live?
Well,
Because the prices are the prices for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's calculated that way. Like, I didn't just make up my prices out of thin air. It's calculated to be able so that I can live.
And even if you did, those are your prices.
Right. Right. But I'm always feeling like I have to over deliver because of what I charge.
I deal with the same thing. And even with my sponsorship with Madman Plant, you know, I have a gun above and beyond, and it really didn't make a difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of times where you have to do it because you believe in it. And like, it's kind of like with Michael Jackson. When Thriller came out, he invested $1 million of his own money to have the special effects in the music video so he could have what his fans expected to see. And he also invested lots of money in his own concerts to make the experience even better for them. I think a lot of it, when you become more self-serving, you kind of forget the middleman, and it's more about the gratification of what you're providing and the knowledge that you know that you're like the best at it. But it is a kick in the ball.
Am I? Well, am I the best at it? Because some days I don't feel like that.
But I don't feel like that either.
Yeah.
There's days where you can ask Lacey. I literally sit here and I'm like, I'm a loser. I'm nobody. Nobody wants our service. Blah, blah, blah. You know, I feel like shit. Like 3 days ago, Lacey can put in the chat. I broke down in the kitchen crying and she had to give me a hug, you know?
She had to or she got to?
I don't know. Did you have to or did you get to? We need to know. Maybe we should take a poll.
Because I feel like she got to. I feel like for her it wasn't a had to.
Yeah, but it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And now imagine if you didn't have her and it's just you.
I would be very lost, and I'm very grateful to have you. But at the same time, you know, you have community and you have people like Dustin who's taking his time to watch you right now that truly care about you. And even though it's not like an intimate thing, it's a way, and that's why I created the event last night, is for people like you and I to feel validated, to feel heard, and to be in a safe space where you can say, hey, listen, I'm a person with a date that comes and goes, and nobody goes, oh my God, you need help. Right. Everybody listened to you and heard you for you. You know, that's what the world doesn't do. We want to label, judge, typical teenager, all this dumb shit, but the human experience of what we interact with and deal with is our own.
Yes. And especially when you're a single person and I only have my little kids every other week, right? So there's a whole week where I don't have my kids and it's just me and my business.
Do you know you can come over here and hang out with me and Lacey?
And I'm grateful, but there's a lot of times where I won't take anybody up on those offers. Like for 4th of July, I had multiple people say, come do stuff.
Nobody called me, so you're lucky, okay?
Nobody called me that day. Okay. Nobody called me that day. And I ended up just like, you know, in my office watching a TV show by myself because there was AC in the office and it was so hot in the RV. I couldn't do it. And I was just like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be by myself and really confront that loneliness because it's been showing up more and more. Like,
talk about it. What does that look like to you?
I feel like I talk a good game when I'm out around people, and it's effortless for me to be happy around people. But by myself, it's all of the things that I haven't accomplished and all the things that I haven't done and all the things that I've done wrong. And a whole list of My older kids don't talk to me. I'm struggling with the business. I'm struggling with my personal life and feeling like I don't know where I even want to live right now. If I even want to stay here. If like I'm ready to just close the business and move somewhere and get a job. Honestly, most days. But then I have my clients that come in and like I can't leave them.
Yeah, being a business owner is kind of like being in prison. It's like if I got out, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I have to go get arrested again and start a business.
Yeah, like I can't do that to them. So do I stay? Because I can't afford to live around here right now.
Oh, it's outrageous.
And I can't be in the RV this winter. It's going to be freezing. It's already super hot in the summer. I don't know. Like I could do it if it was just me, right? But to have my kids in that situation is a whole different ball game because they didn't ask for any of this. It wasn't their fault that any of this happened.
Well, in a way, it's not necessarily your fault either. You've been doing the best you can, running your business, trying to make money, trying to create stability and structure.
Yeah.
It's just the reality, and I'm in that situation right now too, where it's just not working out, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like badly. And you know, now your RV, is it you could drive it, right?
Mm-hmm. If it was inspected, I could drive it.
Well, I need to get inspected because then if you don't know where you want to live,
you
just drive around to a couple of neighborhoods and say, you're like, you know what? I like this neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, well, like that's literally why I bought it, was to live in it and drive around. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but there's discussions of where we would go.
Well, when you deal with that loneliness, because I deal kind of with the same thing. When I'm in front of people, I feel alive. But sometimes there's times where I've been in convention centers and I've been on the phone with Lacey and I feel completely out of it, like dissociative and, you know, not connective. And I'm there to connect. And Lacey has to kind of like push me through it a little bit. When you're in that place, like other than yourself, who is validating all the things that you're telling yourself? Like which person is there with a checklist and been like, yeah, on Tuesday you did not show up, you're
all
a failure.
The voices in my head.
But the voices, like, now are they like real voices or are you just thinking?
They're real people that have said the things, right? They're not there physically at that time, but those voices are still there.
But but I'm sure somebody said, you know, you're probably not the great massagist, but you still have tons of clients, right?
No one's ever said that to me.
Well, okay,
I'm quitting immediately.
Well, let's say somebody said that to you, right?
Yeah.
Is that gonna haunt you and make you question your worth?
Yes.
You have all these other great clients.
Yes.
Well, I'm 100%. The same boat. I let people. I sometimes care too much what people think myself.
Exactly.
But how do we battle that?
I've gotten better at putting it in the box and being like, that's not everybody's thought process. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that it doesn't replay in my head on, you know, way too long. It definitely does. And then I'll find, and then this person said that and that person said that, and well, doesn't matter that like the other people said the opposite. I'm still going to focus on the criticism because that's what I'm used to. That's what I grew up with, is criticism.
Who gave you the most criticism?
My mom.
Okay, let's talk about
my dad just doesn't participate.
Okay. So he's more passive.
Yeah, he's more passive aggressive, and he's just more of a I don't know, my cousin says he treats me like the ex-wife that he doesn't like.
Interesting. Okay.
Although he's getting a little senile in his older age, so he's being nicer, which is weird. But
I forgot that we had all this bad drama.
Yeah, but like I was actually just talking about this today. One of the things he used to always tell me was that I was too sensitive and I needed to grow a thicker skin. Because he would be mean to me and I would be hurt, and then it was my fault that I was hurt because I just didn't know how to take it. Whereas my mom was more of like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? Like, why are you like this? What's wrong with you? Can't you just be different? And I don't even think it was a conscious thing for her, but that's the message that I held on to from all of the stuff. And it still creeps up. So I spent a lot of time trying to prove that there was nothing wrong with me, when in fact there's probably a lot wrong.
I think 90% of people have something wrong.
You know, there's probably some autism in there that I was not diagnosed with, or
hello. Yeah, because I always made the joke that Lacey seems perfectly normal. So, and my son has autism, so it had to come from somebody,
Yeah, I think.
And I have a DNA test, so I know it was me.
I mean, I think I have 3 different, fathers for my children, so there's some commonalities that I have to take responsibility for because I was the common denominator on them. So there's autism in my kids too.
I think honestly, I think there's a statistic that whether you're high functioning or low functioning, there like a good percentage of people have ADHD and some level or form of autism. And honestly, one thing that I've recognized, and we're about to hit our break real quick, and then we can stretch real quick, and then we'll be back down for another hour.
Okay.
Is the more I accept where I am and just where I'm at, and like there's like this famous photo of Michael Phelps running a race, and you see him in swimming, and his face is down. But next to him is his opponent, and his face is looking at Michael Phillips, right?
Right.
And he lost the race because of that split second of trying to figure out where his opponent was.
Mm-hmm.
And in life, I think we're all so focused on trying to, quote unquote, make it, I included, that we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And what we don't realize is not everybody has it together.
Mm-hmm.
And even the person that's on stage speaking in front of thousands of people, guarantee you he doesn't have it all together either. And I think the bigger thing that when we start to realize that imperfection is truly authenticity and reality,
mm-hmm.
It's easier to bear because now it's normalized, where like, let's say if you were in the military, it's all about, being very direct and very orderly. In life, you are where you are, kind of like that sign in the malls. Now that it's shut down on the malls, kind of sad. I miss going to the mall. I was the thing to do when I was 14 years old.
Yeah. Kids
but
don't do that
they
anymore.
have the "you are here,"
mm-hmm.
And I think that we have to remember is we are where we are, whether you like your life or not. Unless you decide to leave, you're not going anywhere as far as who you are.
I mean, you have some influence over who you are, but I've learned that who I see myself as is absolutely not who other people see me as at all. Like so far differently. And so a lot of the things that I feel are my insecurities or my downsides. Like I had a coach when I was coaching in Landmark, I had a participant who was just the most challenging to coach because she just fought me on everything. And then finally it came out that she was like, well, I don't want to have to listen to this little rich white girl who's had everything handed to her whole life. And I was like, excuse you, who? What? I grew up poor. Like, I wish. But that was who I was projecting to overcompensate for all of my insecurities. And so that's what the perception was. And when I started being more authentic and honest about my struggles, then that wall came down and we had a better coaching session. Because I don't have any of the answers. They do. I don't know anything.
Well, they're just reading a book, remember, because they're human too. So
right. Yeah.
And you said it's made up.
It's all made up.
So somebody
None of it's
made,
real.
all right. Well, listen, we will be back here in exactly 5 minutes. So we will be back after the break.
When I get low, there's somewhere I like to go. Out walking with my shadow in my garden friend. Oh, Yahweh, I know you got me in the hand. Though I am tired, you help me stand. But will I be okay?
What's up, guys? If you're enjoying this episode, then you're going to enjoy our gold sponsor, which is Dry Flower, the original hang harvesting system. If you've ever ruined your flower post-chop or lost your terps to a bad dry, it's time to upgrade. Dry Flower makes the full plant hang drying effortless with tools like their drying arms, the rack systems, and the Cannabis Guardian nets, giving you consistent airflow, zero flat spots, and maximum preservation of your strain's full aroma and structure. Built by growers for growers, Dry Flower helps you cure like a king. Our silver sponsor, Current Culture, the gold standard in deep water culture hydroponics. These systems are designed to deliver explosive roots, growth, and nutrient uptake through consistent water circulation and oxidization. Whether you're in a 4-site system for a home setup or a 100-light commercial facility, their undercurrent system and plug-and-play designs make your grow cleaner, faster, and more productive. Precision growing starts at the roots, and that's where Current Culture shines. Legendary Leafies is on a mission to support veterans and break the stigma around cannabis. Through their unique cannabis-themed trading cards, they highlight the plant's therapeutic potential, especially for those that are battling PTSD and anxiety. Legendary Leafies blends education with empowerment, helping veterans and others feel proud and not ashamed of their mental health journey.
When I get low, there's somewhere I like to go. Out walking with my shadow in my garden friend. Oh, Yahweh, I know you got me in the hand. Though I am tired, you help me stand. But will I be okay?
What's going on, guys? We are back. Here is Liahna, and here is the widescreen. So you just made a statement, and I see I forgot my notepad earlier. I've been trying to take notes, so because there's times when people are talking, like I'm like that's a really good question to ask next, and then they stop talking. And I'm like, next
Where
question.
did it go? Where did that question
Forgot
go?
that question. Well, you said the reason you had so many kids was because of your brother's suicide.
Yeah.
So how does that influence more children?
So we were really close, even though we were like 3 years apart. Everybody kind of treated us like we were twins because we were so close. And when he died, I went from being the oldest to being an only child, and I did not like that attention. And I felt like I had to take care of both of my parents who were not together. So I was going back and forth between New York and Virginia. And so when I started having kids, I was like, well, I got to have more than two so that there's like a backup. If something happens to one of them, the other one won't be alone. And then it just kept spiraling. And I have
Was it like
multiple backups.
well, yeah, I guess back up.
Well, it was more for them. Like I didn't want them to be alone. It wasn't for me. It was so that they all have various different relationships with each other, right? Some of them get along really well now. Some of them got along really well before. Some of them don't get along at all. There's a lot of players, so it's a little bit. And they're all like, there's such a gap in ages, right? Because my oldest will be 27 this year, and
That's
my youngest will be
incredible.
7.
Yeah.
So
that means you had your first kid at 20.
I did. Yeah.
That was the same age that Lacey was when she had Logan.
Yeah. I just kept going.
Yeah. 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 We didn't do that.
You know.
Was it intentional, or was it like, damn you, bottle of wine, like, oh,
So-
guess what?
Only my 5th was planned
I
on
mean,
purpose. And that's because Justin we reconnected on Facebook after I had left Chris, and he was like, yo, Lee, I wanted to, like, I regret not being there for Ethan's life, and I want to be a family, and I want to do this. I want to start over, right? And so we actually tried to get pregnant and did. And then again, didn't work out. He actually ended up going and marrying somebody else who he got pregnant, and she had her baby 2 months after I had mine. That was fun. Love that. But the rest of them were all kind of like, I wasn't on birth control, and oops.
it
Oopsies. Some of them were,
Hey, just like 1 out of the 7 just becomes a millionaire. I'm telling you.
Well, okay. You're assuming that they still will like me enough to take care of me. I'm jaded now.
What makes you jaded?
Because I've watched the older ones that I was literally the stay-at-home mom and gave up everything for, want nothing to do with me at the various stages in their lives. Mostly it's my second oldest. He absolutely hates me. Did everything wrong I possibly could have. We got in a huge argument in November. We really haven't spoken since. And in that argument, he was like, you weren't hard enough on us and you were abusive.
Do you think that's true?
How can both of them be true at once?
Well, I guess he said you weren't hard enough and you were abusive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming he's pretty much saying that you didn't, in his eyes, you didn't help out as much as you could, and that maybe you yelled at them or whatever. But what's the reality of this situation? Because you gave up everything.
Yeah. And for most of their lives, I was also super depressed, right? So there was a lot of times where just getting out of bed and feeding them, not even myself, was all I could manage. And they didn't understand that struggle. They still don't understand that struggle.
Yeah.
So
do any of them have kids?
No, thank God.
No.
My oldest is a Marine. He doesn't have time to have kids. My second oldest, he and his girlfriend have lived together for probably 4 or 5 years now. I really like her. But they're not in a position financially to have children, I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. He's the most likely candidate. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'll know those kids because he doesn't like me so much. My third oldest will never have children. He has made that declaration.
Okay.
And then my fourth oldest just joined the Army. He just left Monday for boot camp. And
that one's the one that didn't tell you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And he's just kind of like, I'm going to go off and I'm going to travel the world and like, I'm out. Peace out.
Peace out, Cub Scout.
Yeah. Like maybe you'll get a group text at some point. But yeah.
Where do you think okay, so describe their life, because usually I understand that when kids get older, even Logan's getting 10 years old and getting a little bit mouthy and doesn't want to do stuff with us and he'd rather be doing other things. But where do you think all of that like conflict really relies? If you know what I mean? Like, do you think it's like a them thing where it's their perception, their voices in their head of how maybe they perceived or remembered growing up versus realities, and maybe not understanding your depression and you just trying to get out of bed, and them maybe you did lose your temper. I yell at Logan all the time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I am a great dad. I'm not a perfect dad. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like I'm a much more patient mom with this last batch than I was with the first batch, because again, I was like 20.
I was so lazy. The new kid would have it so much better since we know what we're doing.
No, you don't, because the new kid won't do any of the same things that the other kid did. Like, I remember when I had my fourth, and he's my ADHD, like, he was a challenge from day one. He didn't stop moving. He climbed walls. He escaped the house. We had to put locks and alarms on the doors, and he still figured out how to override them and get out. And that kid. And my mom would say, "Oh, it's because you're being nicer to him than you were with the others. You're not parenting him strict enough." And I was like, "No, I'm parenting him the exact same way that I parented the other ones. He doesn't give a shit. Like, consequences, he's like, yeah, I'll take it and I'll do it again." Like, that was just his personality. And the only thing that worked with him was logic. You had to logically explain to him why he had to do things, and then he would be like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like even with the younger batch, right, that I haven't been a stay-at-home mom, that I've worked for most of their lives, they don't know. Like, with the older ones, they're like, why don't you have a job so that we could have a big house and all the things that my friends have? With the younger ones, they're like, why can't you stay home so that we can have you all the time? So they're never happy, right? Like, they always want the other thing.
But do you see the difference in gratitude?
Yeah.
One wants your presence.
Yeah.
And the other wants you to provide for them. So in a way, it's a them problem, because you didn't give them the life that they thought that they deserved, regardless of the truth of how it works. And I think that's the perception of value. When you compare, you forget how great what in front of you is, because you're looking at, oh, well, my friend's parents had got a Lamborghini for him. Well, great. So I'm an asshole then, right? Your whole existence is shit because you're not going to get a Lambo. Like,
sorry, should have been born into a different family. But I went through that with my parents too, and there was a long time where I felt like, well, my parents didn't provide me with the life that, like, they weren't there. They were all both dealing with their own stuff. And then there was a certain point where I was like, oh, if they weren't there, I'm the only one responsible for the choices that I made. And so I can't be blaming them when I'm the one that raised me, and I'm still raising them in a lot of cases. But I had to take responsibility. And I hope my kids eventually get to that point where they realize that I did the best that I could. And I didn't leave the marriage lightly, right? Like it would have been a lot easier for me to stay married. It would have been a lot less stress. Financially, it would have been better because I didn't have anything the last 15 years. But it was killing me. And it was the choice that I had to make between staying and completely losing myself and ending up swinging from a rafter, or leaving and sacrificing them. And I was still there for a lot of it, but they only remember the times that I wasn't there right now anyways.
Your kids, your clients.
Yeah. Everybody always remembers the things you
Christ.
don't do right. And then they're like, but I did all these
Open
other
your eyes,
things great.
Marty.
Like, don't you see? I'm doing my best.
I saw a meme that said, go easy on your parents. It's their first time too.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't realize that, right? As when we're kids, we think our parents are adults and they have everything together, and they really don't. There's no guidance there. So I don't know how we got on parenting, but my 2 tips on parenting are: number 1, you learn one of 2 things from your parents. What to do or what not to do. And that's it.
Or who to become and who not to become.
It's still what to do and what not
Yeah.
to do, right? Like, yeah, I want to emulate that. No, I don't ever want to do that.
Yeah.
And their only job is to keep you alive until you can keep yourself alive. So if you're still alive, they did their job.
Yeah. They didn't let you drown in the pool. They
Yeah.
didn't let you sit in the car. That's what one thing I can't understand is how you forget your kid in a car. It's like, Johnny hasn't made any noise in the last 3 hours.
okay.
Where the fuck's Johnny?
Devil's advocate, there's a lot of times where I've had my kids in the car and I haven't had my kids in the car. And then sometimes I'm like, wait, do I have the kids with me today? So now my car reminds me.
Well, you got 7 kids, okay? The average person has 1 to 2.
I'm just like,
okay.
Where are you?
It's
I've
cheaper
never
by
left-
the dozen, right?
I've never left anybody in the car. I've definitely forgotten they were there momentarily and then been like, oh, hey, how are you? You've been quiet. But never left them in the car. It's parenting is I think harder now because we've got careers and jobs and businesses, and then you've got your friends and you've got your church or your whatever religious, holistic, spiritual practice that you do. There's so much that you're expected to do. If you just look at like staying hydrated and exercising and eating correctly, that's a lot.
Yeah. That's a fitness and wellness plan
That's
right
a
there.
full-time job
Yeah.
right there. And then we've got
Meal
to do all the other
prepping.
things.
Yeah.
Right. So I just don't eat right. That's how I handle that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fast food junkie, produce, processed foods, survivor here, or processed food veteran,
I'm good with a cheese board. That's simple things.
When I was in California, I went to, what's that place? Jack in the Box.
Oh,
That shit's good. I like Jack in the Box.
I see. The last time I went to California, I was pregnant with my oldest.
Oh, really?
We did a cousins reunion after my brother's death because my cousins were like, oh, we need to spend more time because we're all over the world, like literally. And so we all went out to California where my oldest cousins lived at the time. And we did like the Alcatraz and the Redwood Forests and San Diego and San Francisco and all those things. It was fun.
There's a song that I'm going to turn you on to. I'll know that you listen to after. I haven't gotten emotional to the song in the past, but it's called All That's Best in You. And the band is One Less Reason. I don't know if you listen to the song that I chose for the image on Instagram, but this is the rock version of it. But hold on. So the songs are mostly about the lead singer's girlfriend's suicide. And in the song, it said, with one letter gone, I lost the name of the boy. Hold on, I have the image here. I'll pull it up that I made. But I think you should listen to the song because it talks a lot about the thought of, we're the person that lost the thought that was all that was best in us. It says, I wanted to tell you I tried to make it okay. With just one letter gone, I lost the name of that little boy smiling back at you. He could see all that was best in you. And you could do he or she. But it's one of the things in the picture, I have the little boy with the Grim Reaper leading him away. And the picture is to depict that. And then what I wrote was, some losses never leave. They just learn to walk beside you. This one's for the boy I used to be, the one who believed in the best in others, the one I lost trying to make it all okay. And maybe, just maybe, he's still holding my hand through the dark. You know what I mean? And that's why I kind of feel like with you and the way that you and I share the same feeling about, the loss of worth or self sometimes, is to remind ourselves, who we really are, and it can be emotional sometimes. But, I think with darkness, we are responsible to create the light. Like, I believe that happiness isn't a constant state of being. It's something that we create.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people want to be happily internally, and that's just not realistic. I have an article where I wrote talking about waking up in turmoil, where some of my dreams lately have just been very intense, emotional, where I've been like crying, or bad things are happening, things I can't control. And and you wake up and you feel like you've been in an emotional battle with someone, like yelling back and forth, and you feel that weight. And now you're supposed to wake up and feel good and get yourself out the door and be this person that the world perceives us. And that's just not the reality.
I mean, I've gotten good at generating that authentically, right? So I can literally be living in hell and generate happiness.
Well, that's a superpower then.
Yeah, but it's a double-edged sword, because then I go back home and I can also generate that deep sadness too, because as deep as I get in the darkness, I can also go as high in the light, right? So, and I don't think I could have had the same depth if I hadn't allowed myself to explore and be in that dark place. And there was a time where, like, maybe it was a vitamin deficiency. So, a previous time when I was super suicidal, I was taking pictures with the children just so that they would have pictures of me when I was gone. And I had definitely decided that I was going, and this was after my fifth was born. And before his dad died. It was like, I couldn't perceive a way out of the situation. And so I was just tired of fighting it, tired of trying to pretend. I was working out, I was eating right, I was doing all the things that I was supposed to do. I'd quit drinking. I had been sober for years, and I was still miserable. And so I started taking this vitamin supplement that was an MLM company. And I don't know if it was the B12 or what. All of a sudden, I was happy. The first time in a long time. Like, I was singing and cleaning effortlessly. It wasn't like a huge chore that I had to like work myself up out of the depths of whatever just to do the laundry. And I remember Chris had come home one day, and he was like, because I didn't tell him that I had started, we were not together, but we were still living together. And he was like, "Are you on drugs?"
Because I'm happy.
Yeah. He's like, "And what are they?" Like,
Because I want some.
yeah. He's like, "What? Who the fuck are you?" And in all of the years that we had been together, he's like, "I have never known this person." And at that point I was like, "Oh no, I'm just doing these vitamins that have this like sticker and it's 3 steps and da da da." And he was like, "For the first time, I don't worry about coming home from work and finding you hanging from."
That's what he said to you.
Yeah. Because we never spoke about it, but he could tell. Like, if you live with somebody long enough, you can tell, right? And he could tell that it was bad, but he just didn't say anything. And he, for whatever reason, had just accepted it. So eventually that wore off, right? And it comes back. But now I can still generate that happiness at any point in time. And it's like when I go out and I see people and I'm hanging out with people and I'm that version that you saw last night, that's authentically me. And it also does not mean that I don't have the other plans on the side.
Yeah.
In my back pocket. So, and I think it actually makes me happier to have those plans in the back pocket. I don't know.
What are those plans? Because you mentioned several times last night it's a way out, it's an escape. It's how you describe it.
Yeah.
The ultimate escape. Let's go through kind of that. The plans and your terminology of escape.
I mean, ultimately, if I could be a different person and not die, I'd be all over it.
But what
right?
if you didn't like that person? What if that was more miserable? What if you,
Well, I've already been there. I've already been all those miserable people. Like, I haven't been the one that's content and happy, right? So in an alternate universe, maybe I'm already that person. But for the moment, at least, the escape is just, I don't see a way for me to get to a point where I can survive right now with what I have. So I'm just gonna
lay it out? Let's go.
I'm just gonna jump off of a tree branch and let it swing, because then I don't have to deal with it.
But is it all because of survivability and your
right
fear
now.
of just surviving?
Right now.
Like, is it because you're afraid that you'll wind up on the street one day? And
I'm already on the street. I'm just in an RV, but I'm already on the street, And there's things that come with that you have to factor into. Like, I don't have an address, so therefore I don't have a real ID. Therefore I can't travel because I don't have an ID.
no, I definitely can see that. Now, what are, what about virtual offices and different things that you could do to create an address? Like, there's nothing that you
I have an office, but I don't live there. I don't get any utilities there, right?
Yeah.
So, and the prices right now around here are so ridiculous. I can't even afford to rent a 1-bedroom apartment in Midland. Is like $1,800.
Yeah, to go anywhere.
And it's on the train tracks. Like, that doesn't work for me.
Lacey's commenting in. She's saying, in a way, you feel stuck.
Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, I feel it's not just one way. I feel like every time I turn around, I'm stuck in a different trap.
Like, where do you think you became stuck? Like, why now in this life do you feel stuck when you were a stay-at-home mom and your
I
whole
was still stuck there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean?
But I was, and we weren't financially well off, like, ever, right? But even as a stay-at-home mom, I had a lot of ideas and a lot of motivation and a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish, and I just didn't have the partnership that I had hoped for to create that. And so I felt stuck in that situation where I want to do all these things. I want to create wealth. I want to build stuff when we're young.
Yes.
And I don't make the money, so I can't do it on my own. And you don't want to do it with me. So I kind of gave up. And even when I was teaching for Invest Tools, and I loved it, and I was actually making money, I still felt stuck.
In a perfect world, if you had to describe a world where Liahna is not stuck, what does that world look like to you? What would a non-stuck world? What would be the escape of the situation?
Where I had made choices that generated passive income, that I didn't have to worry about money, that I could have the farm in the middle of nowhere on a mountain with all of the pit bulls that need to be rescued.
Yes.
And
Right there.
I mean, I used to watch that show, Pit Bulls and Parolees.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like sob through the whole thing because I was like, there's so many more people and so many more dogs that need saving, right? Because I'm a healer and I want to heal everybody, but I've never had the financial or the support to do that. And now it's more of like, even take it a step further, I want to have a piece of land where there's tiny homes or whatever on it, and people who are leaving abusive situations can come and stay and get the resources that they need to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there's so many people that I know right now that are getting divorced, and the question is always, well, where am I going to stay? How am I going to make it on my own? Especially while you're going through the process, because the process of divorce, I think, is deliberately made to walk through hell.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about money.
It's not even, it's about breaking you. At least mine has been. It has been about absolutely breaking me. For what reason?
Now, is it breaking you because of all the court stuff, or is it your ex-husband that's divorcing you that's making your life hell through the process where it could be civil?
We were civil. We were very civil. We were best friends. Everybody wondered how we got along so great before this.
So how's it hell now?
Because he decided that he didn't want to give me anything. And he wanted me to pay for everything. Because suddenly, after 15 years, he's decided that I need to pay because I left.
No, you left. Where'd you go?
Originally, I went with a friend of mine. I stayed with her for a while. But again, I came back to the house and I lived in the basement and he lived in the master bedroom, and we were separate, but we were in the same house for a lot of that time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And because you left, you should have to
pay
and get nothing.
Pay.
No, but did you leave? You guys left because of just you guys couldn't deal with each other anymore, or?
At the time, I left because I was just like, I'm not unhappy, and I don't think you're the one for me, right? So I was reading this passage to be an introduction leader, and it was talking about authenticity and how you can have a mud pie, a mud cake, and you can put icing on it, and it doesn't make it a cake. It's still mud. And when you're trying to be authentic about something that's ultimately foundationally inauthentic, it's still inauthentic. So I read that. We had to read it like 5 or 6 times. And then the 3rd or 4th time, I was like, this is my marriage. Because I didn't get married for any grandiose reason, right? Like I was 20 and my parents liked him and he had a good job and he didn't mind that I had a kid with somebody else. He was there when Ethan was born. And I liked him enough that I thought we could make it work. We'll just make it work. No matter, we're just gonna make it work. But again, we hadn't dated for more than a year, like less than a year when we got married. I didn't know him. I didn't know his family. We really didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And he was still hung up on his ex-girlfriend too. And he didn't want to be alone. And that's like, both of us had our reasons. He didn't want to be alone. And I thought I would never find anybody else.
And that goes back to your self-doubt of
Yeah.
not feeling worthy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess my situation now is, you know, if your happiness is a farm and, you know, having your space and being able to do remote stuff, you know, have you thought about what that would look like if you were able to take that on? Like, because with AI and all these businesses, you don't even need to have a warehouse now, you know, because like we used to do all the t-shirts in-house. Now when somebody orders it offline, another company packages it, sends it, and you know, that's one thing that I'm learning from one of my friends who's a multimillionaire, is how to have a business without any overhead or anything that physically exists. It's all virtual and it's all handled by other things. So you can have that opportunity.
And that's kind of where I said earlier, like the vision of my company has changed, right? Because the vision that I was on when I first started, and it was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I had a good intention for it, right? Like I want to change the massage world because massage therapists do not get paid what they're worth. They work super hard, and most of them have to have second jobs, or husbands or wives that have second jobs to make it work, because like Massage Envy and those chain restaurants kind
Oh
of
man, what a restaurant.
The chains are
a
basically
massage
like
and food.
they're designed to turn people through. They're not designed to heal, right? And they pay you basically nothing. So the intention was to make it more of a co-op situation and have massage therapists be paid enough that they could live on. But that takes a lot of work, and doing it on my own was just not gonna happen this year anyways. We may come back to that later on, but at this point I want to do something that I don't have overhead and I don't have a physical spot, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm done. I did it. I'm done right now. Like maybe not for forever, but for right now I'm done. And that's why I was telling you earlier, like I want to do more podcast stuff. I want to do more speaking things, and I've gotten a lot of more opportunities recently to speak.
Great.
Maybe teach. So
well, and you know what? I was actually talking to my business coach today, and he's like, why don't you do like seminars and stuff like that are virtual that you can do at your office or at home, and then, you know, get people to sign up, you know, or like a Patreon where you teach people massage that want to become massage people, you know, and if with the power of content creation and just putting yourself out there, you know, I think you could do very well.
Yeah, I always have a lot of ideas, and then it's like I need somebody to partner with that's a doer, that'll follow through, right? Because that's not where my area of expertise is. I can have the vision and get it started, but I lack the discipline to follow through, I guess. But I'm open. I'm open to whatever happens, because I don't know where I'm going to go right now. And I'm okay with that. Like I had to get okay with that this year.
Well, we're entrepreneurs, so
yeah,
we have to get okay with suck.
Yeah.
Suck happens a lot in this field.
And I miss having business coaches, because in the beginning I had business coaches, and in the last year I haven't even been able to afford them. So
well, luckily for me, I have a great trade with my business coach. Rob has been with me since 2017. So I do some video content for him from time to time. So I'm very lucky. But, you know, my biggest thing too is, at the end of the day, it's not the business coach that's going to get you disciplined.
Right.
It's not the business coach that's going to get you out of bed.
They do have the accountability though.
Yeah,
Which I
but
need.
I can tell you how many times I've met up with my coach and then been like, yeah, I didn't work on it. You
I
know?
didn't do any of that.
I didn't get much done.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah, but
But then you have somebody who's like, and so by when are you going to do it? Right? In theory.
yeah, well, I guess my thing too is, how fast and how serious do you want to move with your idea? And if your idea is, your way out
Right.
or something that you're working on, because like right now with the video production world, it's been extremely slow this year, slower than it has been in a long time.
For everybody.
Everybody's going through it. And,
Mhm.
unless you're some like big multi-gazillionaire, it's tough right now.
Yeah.
And prices are going up. And you look around and you're 100% right. It's impossible to find anywhere to live for cheap,
Or just affordable. Like, I'm not even talking cheap. I'm talking like that's in my potential price range, right? It's
Well, I guess one thing maybe you could think about is if you could find a location that would let you live and have a studio, like a warehouse or something, where you pay the
I
same
have one
amount.
in Arizona.
There you go.
I don't want to go to Arizona.
Arizona, me and Lacey were thinking about
Sorry,
Arizona.
Martin. I don't want to go.
Pretty nice out there.
That's what I hear. My mom went there
Yeah.
for like a year before she had me
Yeah.
and made beads and made jewelry.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to go more south, actually. Let's see.
Yeah, Lacey just chimed in and said,
Yeah, I love
I
Arizona.
love it.
Everybody's moving to Arizona, though. I feel like so many people I know have just moved to Arizona in the last couple of years.
Is it cheaper?
Yeah.
See, that's why we're going to Arizona.
I
That
mean, I would
is-
want to visit before I committed to moving there, I think, right? Because I've never even visited there.
Well, you got an RV, so you just drive around until it feels like the right place.
Yeah, in theory. But how do I make money while I'm just driving around?
The content.
Okay.
So, and that's because I have sponsors that help out with the show, and I do different things. Last year I was touring. This year I'm growing, so with your knowledge, that's what you leverage. And it's because one, you're female. Two, you're a massage therapist. Believe me, we're getting Lacey back on the show just so I can get some more people interested. We were talking about that earlier. Lacey's like, you know what? I think I need to be on your show to draw more audience. And I'm like, yes, I've been waiting for it. Plus, Lacey's right now in psychology courses, and she will be eventually way down the road. I want her to get her PhD because in Virginia, I don't want to go through the whole college process for all that like she is.
Yeah.
I give her credit. But in Virginia, if I get certain certificates, I can work under her license and have my own clients, my own people. Because I really enjoy this over, things that matter, things that are meaningful, things that people can feel like they can walk away with. And that creates the value too.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is, you need to have podcasts. You need to set it up and make a goal of like, I'm going to make one video on YouTube a week. That's my goal right now.
Yeah.
And build that following. And then now you could get a Patreon or have direct subscribers on the, and websites are very cheap, Wix, but you could just build it virtually and then tell people, use your mission. Hey, listen, I'm in this.
I have it already built.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just sold all my podcasting equipment.
No, you just need a webcam.
I just sold
and then just get an Osmo. And I love my Osmo. Does the audio, does the video. I use that for the camera the other night.
Yeah.
So it doubles as a webcam. Let's see here. This is where Mel Robbins' 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method comes into play. You know what that is?
No.
Okay, so the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is you don't want to do something like, let's say you don't want to get out of bed and you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like a countdown. It's like, okay, go.
Just do it.
Yes.
Ready, fire, aim.
Yeah, but my thing is, it's like you have a lot to offer. So with that, how do you leverage that? How does that, help support your narrative and get you to where you want to be, especially if it's out in the mountains? Well, maybe you need to start, finding a place and then, building it. And then YouTube's great because you could tell your viewers, hey, listen, this is my situation and this is what I'm doing. And then that's what a lot of people do to help get their projects funded, or even, even the resources, and with you dealing with mental health and talking about your kids and your relationships and, your brother, your cousin, and your father's of the two children's suicide, that relates to so many people and can draw in a real community that can also make you feel supported. So when you do have a down day, you can, not all the comments on my profile are always great, but when they are, sometimes I read them and I'm like, like some people are like, hey, you're doing a great thing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I feel something again, you know what I mean? But maybe
I have that with my clients too, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's a therapy session as much as it's physical.
That's what I like to feel like these are, like, like a therapy
So
session.
imagine this, but then like you're just getting a massage too.
I mean, I can lay on the table.
But that's how a lot of my clients are.
That's what it should be.
They talk the whole time, and it turns into a therapy session. And then at the end, I feel like I've contributed, and they feel better. So even if I feel like I did a terrible job, and they're like, "Oh, that was the best one yet," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks." But so I do get that from the job. I just want something that I can do that I don't have to keep doing, right? Because I'm getting closer to not being able to keep doing.
I'm
getting old. That's what my grandma, who's 101, told me the other day. I was getting old.
That's awesome.
No, it wasn't. She's very spicy. I was basically teasing my dad because he took the wrong day pills. Like took Mondays on Sunday. And I was like, he was getting in trouble. And I was like, oh, dad took the wrong day of pills. I was like, I can never remember to take pills every day anyways. And she looked at me and she was like, that means you're getting older, right? I was like, thanks.
Yeah. That's the one
You're
thing they don't
101.
tell you about. I've been starting to have problems I've never had before, and it's just like,
you're not even there yet. You're not even there
I'm
yet.
36.
You're not even there yet.
I'm not far behind you.
Wait till you hit 40.
4 more years.
Just enjoy it now.
Right. Well, I'm still a kid. I'm stuck in what's supposed to be a man's body. And
what's supposed to be?
I always pictured myself about 6'5", 280 pounds, all muscle, but
me too.
Yeah, I got an eco-friendly model.
I like that. That's great.
Yeah, it's like trying to park a Hummer all the time.
The compact version.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about the internal sabotage, because that's something that I really deal with. And how bad does it get for you sometimes?
I mean, it's bad enough where I feel like checking out's the only option, right? Because I've talked myself in that circle for so long that I have so much evidence that everybody would be better off without me here, that it just makes a lot. It's like literally the next logical step is, okay, well, let me make everybody else's life easier and give them the space to move on without me weighing them down or causing them problems or whatever. But I remember there was this one time when I was taking my second oldest cupcakes for lunch for his birthday, and I looked at the clock and I was like, oh, I have time to do one other thing. And then by the time I did that one other thing, I looked at the clock and I was like, I'm gonna be late. And as I was driving to school, I was having the conversation, and it was like, you always do this, you always think that you have time, and then you always are late. And it occurred to me that it was the same voice in my head that had told me I had time.
Mm.
And I was like, but you're the one that said you're the one that said it. And I kind of flipped it. And so it didn't have as much power at that point anymore. Not that it doesn't still creep up very strongly. And even though logically I know that it's just the conversation that I could switch, it doesn't occur to me to switch it in that cycle. It's not until I have a friend step in and check me, basically. I remember I was saying something and Jen was like, I don't let my friends talk to my friends like that. And I said it. And she's like, yeah, but you're my friend. And I don't let my friends talk to themselves like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll be nicer to myself. Because I'm really
It's
not.
hard.
Yeah, I'm really not. I'm nicer to everybody else than I am to me.
Sometimes I'm nicer to other people than I am to me. And sometimes I take my aggression out and frustration, sometimes just through yelling throughout the house. So I'm not like perfect. Sometimes I take it out on Lacey. I don't mean to, but it's frustrating, and it's because it's like you want it so bad.
Yeah.
And you just feel like you're so separated and just so many people are just so much closer. But in reality, are they?
It looks like it, right?
On Facebook world, it looks like everybody lives the dream life. I've never seen anybody be like, yeah, so today I feel like shit. Open.
Oh, no. Well, you should be on my Instagram because that's all it is today. I feel like shit.
Oh, really?
And I've literally had people be like, you need to stop posting what you post because
about you.
It's just like quotes that I relate to, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I do write stuff on it about me, but Instagram has always been my safe space to let the darkness out and let it play. And it's not always well received. But that's also how I process it too, is through posting stuff on Instagram.
What's a
I
way
don't
of
really say
venting?
it on Facebook anymore.
Well, same here. I'm more known in the cannabis community, but I focus a lot on mental health, and not everybody gives a shit about that. Like for instance, I've done that exact same speech in that exact same panel, same format, different questions in a lot of different places, virtually or in locations. And in the beginning, there was times where nobody really like appreciated anything. It took time, but I think when you can be authentic, I think that is the biggest driving factor for people who actually give a shit. The right ones to enter your life and the wrong ones to leave your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's hard to let those wrong ones leave though.
But why? They don't think about you.
I know, but I want them to.
But they're not.
I know.
And that's what I was talking about last night during the panel is we meet these people and we wish that they could be the certain person in our life, but they're not, and they never will be. But we want it so bad. Like it's like back in the day, it's like you see a person, you're like, I want this person to have a crush on me, and they don't even know who your name is, but you want it so badly. But
no, I would ignore them entirely and pretend that they didn't exist.
That's what you and I gotta do. That's what we gotta do.
Like,
right?
I like you. This can't happen. I will pretend that you don't exist.
Well, that's what I mean. I've been written off by a lot of people in my own community, for either being different or for.
I think your community is more accepting of being different, though.
The cannabis community?
Yeah. No?
I'm not going to get into politics today, but let's just say there's great parts of the community and there's not great parts of the community. Right. But not everybody is for everyone. And that's just in life.
Absolutely.
And when you're on a path to putting yourself first, trying to take yourself seriously, those who don't follow suit aren't going to mess with you anymore because you're becoming a different person. It's not that they don't want you to see you do good. It's just not better than them.
Right.
And you experience that. And also when you start to get real and authentic and have these type of conversations, these aren't for everybody.
Oh, for sure. I know.
That's why, you know, right now we got 2 people watching.
That's fine.
You know, I don't
Better
give
that
a
way.
shit. This
I
is
like that better.
But you know, in the beginning, it used to bother me that I only had like a couple people watching the show.
Right.
But then I started making it about me, and it's not about them watching. This is me about connecting with you and connecting with whoever else I talk to, and trying my best to be present, because I lack being in the present too.
Mhm.
I either live in the past or the future.
Yeah.
And a therapist who I absolutely adore, he's, you know, if you have a great relationship with a therapist, that is the best thing. But he always tells me, and he always shows me this, he's like, there's 2 people that you're serving each day: the person that wants to get better, and the person full of regret and fear and I'm not good and, you know, all this negative stuff. The problem is you only get so much food a day, and you can only feed one person a day. So which one is going to get fed today? You know, the person that is going to move forward and take you to where you want to be, or the person that's so caught up on the past that they wouldn't even eat the food anyways. They probably just let it go bad, you know? And that's the reality that I try to focus on, because I'm not perfect, is the sense that it's okay. It's all okay. Even though I don't feel okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest part to accept, is when in here it's not okay. But in reality, it's like, are you dying? Is anybody coming in and ruining your day physically? Has anybody said anything today negatively about you? And then you start to go through
probably.
Who gives?
Probably.
I'm getting to the point where I just don't care.
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't either. I don't.
You know,
I don't care what
like,
people say about me.
It used to hurt
that.
really bad, but why? But why? Because they're not thinking the painful thoughts that I think.
Right.
When we feel that way.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that, and just some of the thoughts. I'd love to know some of the phrases that you say to yourself. Like, other than I'm not good, but is there anything that you ever dive deep with? Like,
oh yeah,
like go
all
ahead.
of it. I mean, a lot of it has stemmed around the parenting, because, you know, a lot of people be like, well, you have so many kids, you can't die. You have to stay for the kids. And I'm like, but I've already convinced myself that they're better off without me. And they'll be fine. They'll be taken care of. So do I have to stay for them when I feel like I'm the problem in their, like, I'm the Morgan Wallen problem in their life, you know, like, sometimes I'm working too much and I don't have the physical energy to do the things that they want to do, because they want to go on adventures, or I don't have the money to do the things that they want to do. Yeah. Right. And it kills me to not be able to do that stuff, but it's also evidence. Oh, but you couldn't, look where, like, you're 46, almost 47 next week. Like, you can't even take your kids on a camping trip that costs like $20 a night. Like, and that tends to spiral. And I find more and more evidence. Or like this week I had, the kids are with my mom, right? And I've had this week to work to catch up, because over the summer when we set the co-parenting schedule, I didn't think about the summer. And so we have 1 week on, 1 week off, which is great during the school year. But in the summer, that means that I don't have childcare. So 2 weeks out of the month, I don't work because I don't have childcare.
Yeah.
So I have to make all of the money for that month in the 2 weeks that I do work. So I had my mom take them for this week, and then everybody that booked rescheduled. So I've not worked at all this week. And I'm like, yep, that's how that goes. Great. Like, how, and I do the marketing stuff, and I know all of that stuff. I have not been networking as much because I haven't had the time. Could I have gone to networking events this week? Absolutely, I could have. Did I? No, I did not. Will I next week? Maybe. We'll see. But I've also been caught up in the personal side and dealing with all of the lawyers and all of the court stuff. And it's been so overwhelming. And I have that, and I have other stuff that's going on. And so if it was only one I'm at the point where I could handle only one thing, right? But this year it's been everything. There's not a space that I can look in my life and be like, well, at least that's going well.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I feel you
like
on that.
everywhere I go is like, well, that one's on fire. That one's on fire. Okay. Which fire am I going to put out or try to contain today? Because we're not even putting them out. We're just containing them.
Yeah. Damage control,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter which one I pick. It's always the wrong one for everybody else. Right. So it's been more of a challenge this last year, and especially and that's why I ended up getting a lawyer, because I was pro se on the whole divorce thing, and the judge basically looked at me and was like, you need a lawyer. You're getting fucked. She didn't say that, but that was essentially like the undertone is like, get a lawyer. So I did, and my mom paid for it.
No, it's awesome.
But I have so much guilt about it and so much like uncomfortableness about it. While it like really did save my life in a lot of ways, because had I continued to go on the path and had to deal with his lawyer myself, I was definitely gonna kill myself on his birthday.
On his birthday.
Yeah, it was like 3 days after our trial, our divorce trial.
Just to be like, fuck you, or
Yeah. Oh yeah. But also because I'm like, I don't have the money to pay the things that he wanted me to pay. I don't have it.
What is
He thought I have a business. He's a network engineer. He makes 6 figures.
Oh, okay.
But he sees me having a business and has seen how successful my business is perceived from the outside.
That's what Lacey was saying. Yep.
And so he thought I had gobs of money just rolling in, not realizing that any money that I made went back into the business, and I was operating on a lot of borrowed money and borrowed time.
Same here.
And then everything went to shit in the business, and I lost the people that were working for me. I couldn't cover the rent on my own working, and had to downsize into a smaller office. But he doesn't see any of that. And it's like, and when I've tried to explain things when we were still talking, it was like, well, there's always something going on with you, Liahna. There's always something that's a problem. I was like, okay, cool. But you've never run a business. You don't know what it takes, and what I'm still like, I don't feel like I'm not successful for downsizing. I've gotten comments from people who are concerned about that perception. That's never occurred to me, because I feel like I need to regroup just to be able to do whatever is next.
Yeah.
But the people's perception does make a difference.
You talked a couple times and said, people don't need me. You know what I mean? So
They don't ultimately, right? Like,
but what if the conversation? What if they actually did need you? Would you
they
still?
don't, because if
feel
I
the
was
same?
hit by a car accidentally and I died, people would still survive without me.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I die, the world's gonna go on.
Yeah.
The house gets sold. Somebody else lives here.
Right.
Somebody as
So,
good as you are alive.
do they really need me?
Well,
Or do they just need somebody, and I'm the one that happens to be there at the time?
I guess that I feel like that's more of an internal question that you have to answer, because it's something.
My answer is that they don't need me. They just need somebody who's there at the time. And so,
what would the definition of needing you be? Like, give me the definition. Is what would need to happen for you to know that you're needed? Like, what type of relationships? What type of interactions? And what is need?
I don't even want to say it, because I don't think anybody needs me. I really don't. There's always that, that fantasy of meeting people that, whether it's your person or a friend, and they're like, I don't know what I did without you. I have to have you in my life. I love everything about you. And wanting to spend time with you. And I had that with Justin, and I had that with Garrett initially, and it fades, it goes away. And there's always that point where they don't need you anymore, and there's somebody else that potentially they need more, or somebody that's newer or more exciting, or has their shit together better. Because for me, it's usually like, I don't even have my shit together, so what's the potential for somebody to come across me and be like, oh, this is my person, this is the person I want to spend time with, that I want to support and grow with and be a team with, when I don't have my shit together at all. Like,
well, I think that person is be the right one that actually is like a human and recognizes that love isn't a financial transaction. It's not, you're not getting on the, I feel like with love and relationships, it's like a scale thing. So it has to be equal. But you
can never be equal to me because I'm always going to give everything.
Say it again?
I said, they're never going to be equal. I feel like it hasn't been, right? Because I felt like I've given everything.
You haven't found the right person.
And at this point, what's the likelihood of me finding?
There's people that get married at 80 years old.
I know, my grandma did it.
Okay.
It.
See, you got 40 years to figure out if you're going to get married again.
Well, okay. If I get married again, I'm not getting divorced. So you better make sure that you don't want to ever get divorced from me. But no, and it's like, I still subscribe to that, right? Like, and I'll still go all in it. Maybe more so and faster than I should. Because I feel like I need to enjoy the time that I'm in that happy place of a relationship or a friendship where they like me, because it's fleeting and it'll go away. So I think that's why I go so all in too much, and then I scare them away.
Just because you're insecurity, so you want to show them you're fully committed and fully.
I don't think it's out of it. Maybe it is, but I don't feel like it's out of insecurity. I feel like that's just how I'm built, right? I don't. Once I cross the line into all in, I'm all in. But it's very rare that I cross that line anymore. I'll leave before I get to that line.
But one thing me and Lacey were talking about was sometimes I set myself up for failure based on my thoughts.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
So you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So do you think
because men leave, so I gotta leave first.
But not all men leave, I think it's it's also looking at them and saying what type of issues do they have. Just because you make six figures doesn't make you a great person, and and just because you have money and this perfect picket fence and live in a nice neighborhood doesn't mean you suffer from domestic violence.
True.
You know what I mean? So I guess my thing too is maybe, in your case, the people that you're looking for, maybe they're just not your tribe, the people that truly vibe and value the same things. And, really just trying to understand, do you need somebody? Or like my aunt, who's a IBFF pro bodybuilder, in her 60s, one after 60 years old. She got divorced from her husband. She's been single ever since, you know,
Mhm.
dated here and there, but she loves it. She doesn't want to be tied down. She's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to report to anybody. I
Yeah.
come and go.
Well, and I do too, right? I do too.
Mhm.
And I've gotten to that point where like I love my alone time. And I've always joked recently that like I'll just rent a guy
Mm.
and then send him home. But
That's the business. There you go.
no, that's prostitution,
Are you
honey.
bad at relationships? You can rent a boyfriend today.
Need a propane tank? I got one for you.
Yeah.
Coming right up. But but that's not what I want ultimately, right? That's truly not what I want.
What do you want?
I want that relationship that's passionate and growth and building together and equally yoked and I want that happily ever after, even if it's not happy all the time. I just gave up on it for me. Like I'm the foster girlfriend.
I've never heard that. Is that a real term?
That is, yeah. I
Where does this come from?
TikTok.
Oh,
No.
foster girlfriend.
No, I am. And it like somebody said it on TikTok and I was like, God damn it. And I even used to joke with the last guy I was with. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm his forever home. I'm just fostering him, housebreaking him. And then
That's sad.
and it's true because every guy I've dated has found the love of their
What-
life after me. I'm good luck Chuck.
Oh yeah, I know that movie.
I'm good luck Chuck. And a foster girlfriend. So I'll just hang out with you while you're like finding yourself and figuring out what you want. And then you're probably gonna break up with me and then you're gonna find the love of your life and it's been fun.
Do you think if you thought differently, your reality would be different?
No, because I thought differently for a long time. Like when I left Chris, I went on purpose to look for love because I'd never in a relationship, I'd always had one foot out. Right. And so I was like, I gotta stop doing that. I'm gonna go all in. All in. And I did. And I knew it was a terrible idea. And it totally destroyed me. Totally destroyed me.
But it also must have built you in some way. So what did it do? Because from all these
It
heartbreaks,
proved to me that I could do it, right?
that you can move on.
With that and that I could love because I had been accused of not being able to love prior to that. So
And what's an inability to love? How could you?
I was
How could you
accused
love
of being
and not-
cold and distant and not because I controlled my emotions too well.
Mhm.
I didn't allow myself to show any emotions except for anger.
Mm.
And that usually took me by surprise as well. I didn't cry. I didn't show remorse. I would apologize, but it was never because I already had one foot out the door, right? So I don't really care if you stay or not.
It's like
I'm like-
fucking up at work because you know you're quitting
Yeah,
in 2 weeks.
literally. And then so afterwards, I was like, all right, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to go all in and I'm going to find the love of my life. And that was 15 years ago. And what I found is a lot of heartbreak. A lot of heartbreak. A lot of relationships that didn't work.
But you're still standing and you're here.
Yeah.
And there's still plenty of time.
Is there? We'll see. I got
Well,
like
if your
one more in
grandmother
me.
lived to
got,
100,
like,
my
one more in me.
grandfather is 103. That gives me hope.
Yeah. But she lived a better life than I did. I partied way more than she did.
They say,
I don't want to live to 100.
you don't? I do. So I can say I should have died years ago.
I already say that now. Like, there's so many situations in my life that I was like, I should have died there. But I didn't. Why? But after my cousin's funeral, the one that committed suicide, we were on our way back from Hilton Head, and we'd been driving all day, and I was pregnant with my fourth. So I had the 3 kids. I was pregnant. We had 2 or 3 hamsters in the back because he loved animals, and my aunt hated the hamsters. She thought they were disgusting. And so we inherited the hamsters. And so it was coming out of McDonald's right next to our house. And I never saw the truck, but I T-boned a truck.
Mm.
And everybody was fine except for me. I got like burned. I still have a scar from the thing. And the whole ride home, I had been talking to God, whether you believe in God or not.
Oh, I do.
Okay. I have been, because we haven't had this conversation, but I was talking to God, and I was like, it's going to be such a, like, the 2 guys that in my family that I was closest to, that I felt the most myself with, are gone.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a really long time before I see them. And I don't want to do this without them. And if they get to leave, why can't I? Like, why do I have to be the one that stays? And I don't want to do this without them. And in the moment of the car accident, there was a voice, and it was like, I can take you whenever I want. It's not your time yet.
Yeah,
Damn it.
when we had Tristan on, Tristan is one of my, now a good friend that I actually talk to on probably a weekly basis. He's also in our Discord, as well as Henry. Henry is also another one. 2 gunshot victims. And when Tristan shot himself, when he was in a coma, he said that it wasn't like a god for him. It was just a voice.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a voice.
And Tristan was yelling at the whatever the figure was, and he's like, what am I doing here? He's like, I want to die. I don't want to be here. And the voice told him that pretty much, I decide when you go, and pretty much, again, this isn't your time. And he's like, and the voice told him, you can keep trying, but I'll keep putting you back here. Damn it. Henry is an 11-time suicide survivor.
Yeah, you were talking about that last night.
Yep. And another very similar case, felt like he was in hell, and he was being judged and prosecuted by like demons and stuff. And he literally thought he was dead, but he wasn't. But he had shot himself, and while bleeding, he was telling them that he didn't shoot himself. And they were like, you did or you didn't? And then the person next to him was like, no, he did do this. He's like, you need to come now. And because he did not want to be saved. But it's a thing that, if this, it's, that somebody watches out for you, and something's out there that's keeping tabs of you. Because if not, why wouldn't you have been successful?
Right. Yeah, just in putting myself in very risky situations too, right? Like very risky.
Well, either adolescence or just, feeling reckless. There's times where you're just like, fuck it, I want to speed down the road today.
Yeah.
And I know it's dangerous.
Can I make it?
Yeah, and I know there's a bunch of accidents on this road, but today I'm speeding down it,
Yeah.
So with that, I guess, where are you right now mentally with everything? Like, are you just in the balance? Like, are you like driving right now in the sea and moving forward? Do you feel like you're in a, because you said you were in it yesterday, and
yeah. I mean, the fun thing is that where I'm at right now, things are changing so quickly that I never know what the next thing is going to be, right? So today it was, I think Chris has accepted the proposal. So that means we can finally move forward and sign paperwork. We don't have to go to trial. We don't have to wait till August, right? But it's it's not a good deal for me. Like, it's a much better deal for him than it is for me. And the conversation that I'm having right now about that is like, I always take the bad deal just so I don't have to deal with him, right? And this time it's like the last bad deal that I'm going to take from him. And just, I need to move on, but there's still a level of heartbreak for myself and also for our marriage and our friendship, because we won't even have a friendship after this. Like, that's done.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if he's treating you this way, I wouldn't want to be friends with somebody that couldn't
But
be
I
civil.
have. I've always taken it and been the bigger person and not reacted and not gone against him, because I don't want the conflict. And two, that's how I got my power back, was by not contributing. So it's like, how now there's a lot that I got to figure out with no money.
Yeah.
A lot. And
But
I don't know how I'm going to do it.
I have faith in you. You seem like a very smart person. And, when did the fallout happen? Like, what was the heartbreak between you, from coexisting to living together to just kind of getting along to people making those wonderful comments about how great you guys were? Like, what was the straw? Like, what was the beat?
It wasn't a straw. It was a constant buildup of, and it took me 10 years to realize that I wasn't the only problem in the marriage, that we both contributed, because prior to that, it was all my fault. It was all my fault that it didn't work out. I was just a terrible wife, a terrible mother. I couldn't get my shit together. So the reason why it didn't work out was all me. And then at a certain point, it dawned on me that, like, oh, he wasn't really in it to win it either.
Yeah.
Oops. Like, there's some things he could be responsible for too. And so I've forgiven a lot over the years for myself. This, I don't know that I'm willing to forgive.
Well, you should have vigilance, because you are kind of getting screwed over.
Yeah. Not as badly as he wanted to, but in his world, I'm not. In his world, he's getting screwed over.
But he's the one with 6 figures. You're the one.
It doesn't matter. He has to pay me, and it was all my fault, and I'm the one that chose to leave. So if he has to pay me anything, I don't deserve a single cent.
But what if you chose to leave for your own sanity?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of my things have ever mattered in that relationship, which is why it's a good thing that it's ending.
Yeah.
Permanently. Because even remaining friends with him was sacrificing me on levels.
Well, and you said, to get your power back, this will complete that.
Yeah.
You'll be completely free.
Yeah.
And, I guess, sometimes the hard thing and the right thing are the same. And I guess this would fall on the line where it's not pretty, but it gets me to the next chapter of life.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll give you that freedom, to really put forth what goes next.
Yeah. Because it can't be the same as what it's been.
Well, no, that's insanity.
Exactly.
Doing the same thing over and getting the same results. And I have dealt with that so many times. And it comes to relationships, it comes to people, it comes to everything, because you don't want to lose. And I'm
fine with losing. I don't know what to do with winning.
So are you afraid of failure, or are you afraid of success?
No, I love failure. I'm good at failure. I'm really good at failure.
Are you afraid of success?
Fuck yeah.
What scares you the most about succeeding? What if it all worked out? Like in that Instagram voice on you, it's like, what if it all worked out?
I don't know.
What if you're just traveling down the road one day and you get a coffee or Wawa and Mr. Wright's right there, and
And I
he's
tell
like,
him to fuck
and
off.
he's like, no, and he's like, oh, I have a farm, and it's like, it's like, that's my pit bull, and are you gonna like just like start crying? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, what if it all went right?
I would test it. I'd try to fuck it up.
So you have hope.
I have hope in like the sense of when you're reading a book and you haven't gotten to the end.
That you'll finish it.
And you're like, that's the level of hope I have. Yes, it's a possibility and I'm open to the possibility, but also I can't keep actively waiting for it, if that makes sense. Because I've been waiting a long time and it's not happened. So
but sometimes it takes a lifetime to find what you truly want in life.
it's annoying.
Yeah, believe
It's
me,
not efficient at
I'm
all.
waiting on my millions, like
It's not
I've
efficient
been
at all.
waiting.
Okay, this is
I put in that order a long time ago.
this is a terrible system. It should not be duplicated.
I know. Everybody should come with trust funds.
Or at least, I don't know. I feel like it's not that I didn't come with money. I feel like it's that I came with a lot of mental barriers to creating the money that I can see as possible. But my mental barriers get in the way.
Oh, I'm the same way with you. I sometimes when we first started charging like our full day rate now, I was so scared that nobody would do it. And then I find out that people charge $25,000 a day. And I'm like, wait, what? Like what? But when you do it yourself and you're not this big company and you don't have these things, it's intimidating. I think that's part of that imposter syndrome is am I validated enough to be doing this? And are people going to invest? And where does that come from?
Yeah.
Right here, because if people are paying, they're paying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think sometimes we give big businesses more leeway than we give a small business.
Oh, yeah. You'll wait a couple extra days for your Amazon package. If you fuck up on a small business, you're getting blasted that fucking day.
Yep.
In the cannabis world, everybody thinks that the dispensaries are the best. The people that don't home grow. I will tell you that home growers bang out probably better quality because they have more time with their plants and care than a mass facility. Now, there are some mass facilities that are very good, so I don't want to discredit the ones that are good. But for a majority, when you go to a dispensary, you get led down. When you grow your own, you're just like, this is amazing,
right?
But it's the perception that because it's professionalized and has really good marketing, this is better. Just like the Dyson vacuum. Is it the best vacuum? No, they have the best marketing.
Yeah.
So that's why it's the best vacuum. But at the end of the day, you have a Shark vacuum that's like half the price that does the same thing. Better. Exactly.
Yes. I bought the Dyson and now I have a Shark.
My point exactly.
Dyson broke. Then they tried to sell me on the hairdryer and I was like, absolutely not. Thank you.
Maybe we need to focus on the vacuum. And
look, you didn't do well with sucking. I don't know how well you're gonna do with blowing.
Part of it sucks. This really sucks.
Not in a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like there is a lot more pressure on a small business, and one person could potentially, like one review could destroy a business.
100%. And that's what people will leverage when they're unhappy.
Yeah.
Is, you know what? I'm going to socially assassinate you because I'm dissatisfied and I want other people to know. And I don't understand lately. I've experienced it twice now, but I don't know if you've seen other people do it, but this public denouncing that you are no longer friends with a certain person. I'm just like, when did this become a social thing that you denounce your friendship online just to confirm that everybody will do it? It's just like, society is.
Are we in middle school again?
I don't think we ever left it.
I feel like I didn't.
No, we never left it. But it's just interesting how the world like when we were doing the 3D printing, people got super mad because it took a long time. We only have 7 printers. We're doing it all here in the basement. And they're like, oh, I haven't gotten my products yet. And it's like, we're keeping you informed. You know what we're doing. You see how long it takes.
How long does it take to get Shen or whatever that? It takes like 3 months to get your order from that discount. You don't order from there, obviously.
They come from like China,
yes,
so it's
absolutely.
like 3
and
months
the
to
sizes
ship
are
on the
like
boat.
weird, but it's super cheap, right? But it takes forever to get your stuff, and then you get it, and you're like, I don't even remember what I ordered.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even know if it's right. It's not even my size.
Why did I order this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, kind of the Temu. That's like when every time Lacey orders something and Lacey says Dyson sucks. When Lacey orders something, it's like this dog bed upstairs, and people are like, yeah, you have to let it sit for like 3 days for it to expand. It's like 3 days. It should do it instantaneously. What the hell is this shit?
Yeah. And then it's like half the size that you thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I don't do Temu. Nope.
No. I just rather pay.
Yeah, me too. Emotionally or financially, apparently.
Like Joe Exotic, I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Oh my gosh.
I was thinking of trying to get him on the podcast. You probably just got to put money on his books or send him some like gifts or something, but he would be perfect for the podcast. They should let him go and take Doc Ansel, who just got money laundering and animal trafficking. You know, you can buy a tiger for $3,000, right?
Then you have a tiger.
Yeah, like, and if it's anything like Honey, it'll be the talk of the town. Oh,
No,
she's not there.
No, she ran away.
She is probably at the top of the stair, listening.
I think I'd rather have Honey though than a tiger, honestly.
Honey was hilarious last night. There's one time during the panel I looked up and she wasn't on her little pad. And I looked around and she's getting pets from all the people in the audience. And I'm like, Honey, come back. And they're like, no, she's fine. She's fine.
Let her stay.
I think it was actually great because we're talking about mental health. So, you know, maybe people are getting triggered or, you know, thoughts my way.
Absolutely.
A little bit therapy going in. So.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I feel like animals have been coming up to me more recently.
They can sense things.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that they didn't before, but I feel like it's like every time I walk into a room with an animal, I feel like they're next to me all of a sudden.
Let's see here. All right. We have about 15 minutes left. This will be a 3-hour podcast. I like going the length. Some people are like, your podcasts are too long. There's some people that do like 10 minutes or 15 minutes and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can't even get the introductions out of the way. Because if we supposed to speak for 5 minutes, that's twice. And then the conversation's over.
Well, and then they add on stuff, like recorded stuff in the beginning and the end.
Yeah. So I'm going to open it up to you. So usually last 10, 15 minutes, I open it up to my guests. And we can cover anything that you feel we left out, anything you want to bring to the table.
I mean, I guess my main thing is that I don't think being suicidal should be treated as something that there's wrong with.
Great conversation.
Yeah, I don't think it should be something wrong with you. I think it should be acceptable to talk about without feeling like you're going to be locked up or like I think I was telling somebody yesterday that I called the suicide helpline for somebody else, right? And at the end of the phone call, I was interrogated. And immediately the way that the questions were asked triggered me.
Okay.
And it was like, are you having any thoughts of harming yourself? I'm like, every fucking day, dude.
Like, God damn, this is the voice in my head.
Every fucking day. Yeah. Are you safe? Are you in a safe space? I'm at work, so I fucking hope it's safe.
Well,
Yeah,
today you never know.
it seems solid to me right now. When I'm the weapon, I don't know if I'm ever in a really safe space, right? But it was just like, and he wouldn't let me get off the phone. I'm like, this is not about me. I did not call about me.
Yeah.
I called about somebody. Can you just go check on the other person? You're wasting time here with me. Because I felt like I answer those questions in a way that raises flags, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm standing there with the rope or the knife or the pills or the gun or whatever. But I need to be able to talk about it and say, this is where I'm at. I'm done today. I'm out. And be heard in a space that's not, we need to fix this. Because sometimes it's not the fixing, it's just being able to be heard.
What would a safe space look like? Like if somebody were to create something like that, what would be the narrative and how would something like that work?
I mean, I think it would be different for everybody, right? But just being able to say it, the space where you can just say it and it's not people jumping in to fix it or save you and being like, so for me, it's like I have one specific person that I can say this kind of stuff to, and they respond with like, all right, let's do it. And it's counterintuitive, right? Because you're like, oh, you should never say that. But I'm like, all right, let's go. And like it diffuses it in a way, right? Because I have permission to feel that way. Or it's like the dark humor. Like, oh, you know, how are you going to do it today? And because I have such dark humor, that is what diffuses it for me. And by saying like, you can't do that. You can't feel this way. You shouldn't talk about it. You shouldn't joke about it. That doesn't help me at all.
For somebody that has been and suicidal, that's actually called a number, what is it that you're looking for? Like,
I didn't call for me. I'll never call for me. I will never call for me.
okay.
And,
but for your friend,
and I've done all of the out of darkness walks. Like I did DC, I did Boston.
What's that?
The AFSP, where you walk from 9 o'clock at night until the morning for suicide awareness.
Oh, that's
prevention.
cool.
It's like 16 miles, 18 miles.
We should do that.
They have one coming up in, it's not that, it's like a community walk. So it's during the day in Manassas, actually. I
Hopefully
think.
like in September, October, when it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I did Boston in June. I did DC in June. But those were both 16, 18 miles overnight. And it's rough. And I did NAMI, which is another organization for suicide awareness, right? So my aunt works for AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. But I feel like there's still, all of them are still in the conversation of this is something wrong that needs to be eradicated or fixed. And it's not going to. It's just not.
So if it's not wrong, what would the proper terminology be then?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like, because we could be pioneers together, you
Yeah.
know, and create another term, because I have a controversial belief that now this more turns to like the terminally ill and like
Yes,
people that are
that's
truly
also-
suffering is to
Wait,
do.
I'm not truly suffering? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
I
kidding,
know,
I'm
I know what
kidding.
you mean. No, I know what you mean. But to be able to have portals and places like they do in Sweden, where they're capsules, and it's a very humane, it's safe,
Mhm.
it gives time for the family, and if that's your wish, just like
We do it for dogs and cats.
well, yeah, we put them down all the time.
Yeah. Have that conversation. Oh, you let your dog die on its own? You didn't euthanize it when it was in pain? But then you look at the human that you is forced to die on its own, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's so terrible."
Well, I guess that's true, because if Honey was severely suffering, I would rather just have her. And believe me, I've had the conversation too, that if I knew, but it's different because I in my own way, I'm like, okay, but let's just say like I was in the position right now where I was very suicidal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like kind of like you, there's certain things I would have to do first. And Logan, my son, would be a priority,
Yep.
And with you, with your children, it's just unfortunate because to take so much time in the beginning to dedicate your life and then to end up with nothing. It literally is the concept of building this business and then it blows up in your face and it's all over. It's tragedy.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with you in the fact that there has to be an option that isn't splattered brains all over things, property damage and other things, where people can die with dignity and respect. And just like you have a celebration of life, you could have the same thing. And if
I don't want a funeral.
You don't want a funeral?
No. If you come to my funeral, I will haunt you.
Really?
No, because I don't think it's helpful. And also being on the other side of it for my brother's funeral, it was exhausting. Just the amount of people that came through, and then we end up comforting the people coming through, right? Like in theory, it's supposed to be the other way. Yeah, in theory, it's supposed to be the other way, but I found that I was comforting all of the people that came through more than it was just draining for me. I didn't want to be on public display the way that I was, because my identity was my brother. Like, that's how close we were. Everybody was like, "Oh, you're Neil's sister." That's how I was known. You're Neil's sister. And so for the past 28 years, I've had to redefine myself as somebody that's not Neil's sister, because people now don't know him. The majority of the people that I'm surrounded with don't know him. My kids don't know him. So I think for me, there's got to be a way that you can get it out without being judged, because I won't call those suicide hotlines for myself. I won't text better me or whatever. Like, I don't do that stuff because I haven't found it helpful. Which is why I use Instagram literally to vent it out.
Yeah.
And clear it out.
Well, it also gives the world perspective.
My little world of 600 people on Instagram. Yeah.
I got 9,000.
Most of them don't follow. They don't interact with anything anyways. So.
Same here.
Like, that's why I just started treating it kind of like a diary.
So when you said you referred to as Neil's sister, well, didn't that also create a liberation feeling of finally being you, just like leaving this divorce?
No, I did not want to be me. I did not want to be on my own. And that's probably why I've stayed attached to things that aren't working for too long. I was perfectly happy being Neil's sister.
Mm-hmm. But what's so bad about being Liahna?
Nothing. It's just there was a less pressure, maybe, because he's the one that did all the networking and the socializing, and I wasn't. I'm not a social person, despite what you see at these networking events.
You fool me.
I am
like
not
a social butterfly.
No, my first networking event, I was so terrified. I was sick to my stomach, shaking like a leaf. I almost left before I even walked in. I pulled in and I was like, nope, I don't want to be here. And I almost left, but I had somebody there that was expecting me. So I was like, all right, I'll just come in a little bit and then I'll leave. And then I got sucked in and I couldn't leave. And I made it through, and it was terrifying because it was very BNI-ish structure. And I don't know if you've been to BNI's.
I'm not a fan either.
Yeah. And so it was like
That's a different podcast.
30 seconds to like explain what you do. And I had never done that before. It's terrifying. And of course I was new, so they made me go first. And
Elevator
I was like,
pitch.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I was like, can I at least hear yours first so I can get an idea of what to say? So that's why when we did this, when Jen and Tiffany and I did the Fauquier County Social Collective, I was very big into pairing up introverts and extroverts and giving you all of the information, more information than you needed on what to expect, and making sure that the new people were greeted and like kind of handheld if they needed it, right? Because that was me. I have to go to a new place that I've never been before, and then I have to meet a bunch of strangers that I don't know, and I have to promote my business and participate in whatever crazy activity they've come up with today. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So now I do stuff on purpose on my my chamber lead chair, or like my thing is I stand up on the chair when I give my presentation.
To just make yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah. And also because I'm short and I keep getting stuck inside, right? So I just started standing on the chair, and now it's kind of my thing.
That's awesome.
And I joke about it. So it made it less scary, I guess.
Well, it's like if you do all these things and you continue them, I feel like self-confidence in the way we treat it and see ourselves is like a muscle, and it needs to be worked out in the appropriate ways. And that's what I was talking about. I have 3 cardinal rules of success that I try to follow. I heard from this famous actor. I don't know his name. He's a really profound person, obviously. But the first one is only walk into rooms where people light up when they see you. And that's a big thing. If people don't value you, you'll never value yourself. And no matter what you build, it'll never be good enough because they don't want you to be good enough.
Absolutely.
They already devalue. Next one is the fastest way to be where you want to be is slowly. And the third is the bottom of one mountain or the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. So it's just one of those things where I think so too, is if you can continue to put yourself in environments where you feel needed, wanted, validated, it'll changes how I feel. And when I sit in here in my house, sometimes I forget the psychology term, but there's actually a psychology term about staying in like a place for too long and what it actually does to the mind and the way of thinking, because you're not socializing, you're not getting out there, you're not, doing those things. And I, like you, stopped networking mainly because where I was going, I just didn't feel like people valued my service. So I needed to find other places of validation because I was losing value too, you know?
And you got to make sure that it's something like that has your target audience, right? Because I originally started networking and I had to figure out, how do I talk to these bankers and real estate people and roofers and plumbers and electricians about why they need massage? Because I walk in the room and they're like, why are you here?
Because you bend over all day, bud.
I'm sorry, do you work?
Yeah.
Do you live? Then you need me. But, that was a huge part for me to learn. And I've learned so much from networking. So I'm really grateful for it. But I just... Yeah, I think I would rather network in a different... I like the happy hours for the chamber. I like those a lot. Those are really like informal, and you don't have to go around and give your speech. You just walk around
drinking. Come on.
Yeah, and they're like walking around and they're like, "Oh, what do you do? What do you do?" Right? I like those better than I like the meetings, I think, right now.
Yeah. Well, we are at the 3-hour mark. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How long does it feel like we've been talking?
Maybe an hour.
See, usually about 45 minutes to an
Yeah.
hour is what people tell me.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So two questions.
Mhm.
First, what do you feel like you got out of being on the Vindec platform?
Confidence to share my story.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
I've been trying to start a podcast about mental health and my story with it for years. I've even recorded videos.
I'll
Never
give you
posted
all
it.
the free advice I have to offer, which isn't much, but you can have it all.
Yeah.
I think you would do very well.
Okay.
And I would love to be one of your first guests.
All right.
You can interview me and but you should first piece of advice, make a pilot episode.
Mhm.
So record yourself. Doesn't need to be fancy. It can be a webcam. It can just be simple stuff. And tell your story of what the podcast is going to be about. Maybe your ideal audience, and because it really sets the tone. And then really just dive and just get loose with it, and it will take you away. You'll get inspired. You can use a lot more of your thoughts like you do on Instagram as content and conversation for your podcast. And what you can also do is do short segments too, where you're not interviewing a guest. And instead of just writing it on Instagram, make an audio of how you feel and title it and say, hey, random thought,
Yeah.
from Liahna,
I do that on Instagram already.
You do. Well, now carry it over and get it on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the big things. And next thing you know,
Yeah.
you got that farm and those dogs. And Lacey wants a rescue too, so maybe we should just get like a collective of people.
I like Lacey from the first moment I met her.
And just do a whole rescue, because I am all for rescuing the animals.
Yeah.
So the last question is, what made you come on the show?
You.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I like your vibe and I like your vision and I like supporting you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
And I like honey.
That she just told you what she came for. It was honey. It always is. But no, I try really hard to create a safe space of no judgment.
Yeah.
Just being questionable to really help seek deeper answers, whether it's here or in the future. But it gives people a real sense of legitimacy.
Yeah.
And when you have a safe space, that's where we can regain our power and our control and feel like we are important, because all of us are important. We all have a vision and a purpose and a mission. But when life hits you like it has you, and you deal with the things that you've dealt through, which are very traumatic, heartbreaking things, it's the rebuilding yourself that will always be the struggle, because you carry so much weight. But if you can figure out to be creative like you have been and use that, it can also be your art. And the major, like the lead singer of that band and the music, most of it's about this girlfriend's suicide. A lot of your work could be massage and therapy, and using your trauma to heal others, not just on a table, but spiritually. And that drives a different level of business and connectivity that the corporations can't offer.
Absolutely.
And that defines you and something that's very unique about your service. And that's why it's so important to be real, because we're all suffering in some way or another, whether it's financially, spiritually, morally. I mean,
maybe all of them.
Right? So no, I really thank you. And I just love that you're just so honest, because I think that also is your escape as well. Because if you couldn't release it, where would you?
Exactly. Yeah, I would not be here.
Well, we need you here.
So that's why I'm still honest.
Yep, and you can come hang out with me and Lacey anytime you feel down, because honestly, we never leave the house. We're like you guys. We're like you. Like, we literally just stay put, because we're just trying to get the business right and
Yeah.
everything else. And right now, it is expensive.
It is a
And
lot.
I'm not a millionaire or anywhere near that.
Yet.
I'm a thousandaire.
Well, you're better than me. You're better than me.
But, less than 50% of people in the United States have less than $5,000 in their savings. And the average person doesn't think about their savings account until around 50. It's true fact. I took a finance course because I wanted to try to understand money better.
Yeah.
And that's one of the statistics that most
Yeah.
people did not have savings accounts.
Yeah. Well, that's
We're-
what we taught at Investals, because we taught people how to trade stocks, options, futures.
Really?
Yeah.
So are you a stock trader?
No, I'm an options trader.
Oh, see, we'll come on another podcast, talk options.
Yeah, futures are where I lost the money. So I don't recommend futures, but options were where I was at.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This was awesome. Guys, we have more podcasts coming your way next Wednesday. Even more. This is Madman Plant and Smoke Busters sign off. We'll see you guys soon.
Love it.